Cool.
I said one halfling,
Guys.
but that just still fit most of our gear.
Guys, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a quick recap of everything that's just happened. Apparently we've had some sound cut out. I don't know how long the sound's been cut for. But just a quick recap. Basically, they're getting ready. That's the most simple form of it. Cinder has discovered that he can't take his weapons, but the group has sort of understood that also there's no real need to fight. I think it was whatever July last said, that's when it cut.
Sorry.
No, Phoenix, it's an overall sound thing. I accidentally, I don't even know how, just muted all incoming sound. Anyway, carry on, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
Anyone else bring any particular items along with them? Just so we know what folks have.
Wait, are we bringing the chest with us, or is that staying?
No,
in
we're
the
leaving in the
house?
house.
All
There's
right,
a lock
I
on
thought
it.
so.
It's, yeah.
Well, no, just because the way you were just like, oh, the chest should be big enough. I'm just like, are we bringing that with us? I was not aware of this. But he'll just sort of tuck it in his room, and he'll just sort of come back downstairs with, his accoutrement.
To those of you who are casters, I mean, obviously, July, you can hide a holy symbol under your shirt or whatever. But what are your spell focuses, please, Aster and Royal and Nonnery?
This is a crystal, like just a plain, like blue crystal.
I suppose you're going to pass it off as like you're focusing your entertaining magics through that?
Yeah. I mean, they have some spells that are like minor cantrips that require material components that they can use to justify having it. Okay. They're not going to hide. We were going to use magic fairly obviously for our actual entertainment.
It's just, I'm wondering whether anybody has, for example, a staff or... what's Aster got over there?
So Aster's is his star map, which is a little black crystal that has like a little galaxy in
And
it.
you wear that on a necklace, don't you?
I sure do.
Okay. Nonnery?
Well, I have a component pouch and my little dried mushroom spellbook.
Okay. And your spellbook is your spell focus? Your arcane focus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's mechanically, it doesn't really matter. It's just a choice. I just wanted to make sure that no, you can't have yourself as your spell focus. I just wanted to make sure nobody was trying to come in with like a staff, a wand, anything that could potentially look threatening before you get there, because yeah, let's make sure nothing's too worrying before we arrive. Okay, so with that, and you're all packed up, are we heading straight out?
Yep.
Hotfingers is staying behind, of course.
I believe Hotfingers, last we did, had already left to do some minor heisting with her friends where we were.
Oh yeah. But she had mentioned she'd keep an eye on the house and your stuff and whatever while you were out. Make it that what you will. She might come back. I don't know.
You better come back.
Okay.
Yeah, also, I'd leave behind like my singular dagger that I have.
Yeah. How are you gonna hide that dagger?
Oh, I'm not bringing it. I'm putting it in my room.
Oh, sorry, you're leaving the dagger. That's a point. Admiral Rufus K. Boom Nadler. As you're invisible, are you just gonna go fully kitted out and like dressed like you normally would be? Or were you gonna attempt to perhaps be in a situation? I mean, I'm just wondering if the invisibility drops, are you... What are you wearing?
I will leave my crossbow behind.
We got you we had like the sort of cleaner disguise, right? You could just like have that on, just in case.
Yeah.
Because I mean, invisibility only lasts an hour, right? Unless Royal is doing anything to change that.
No, I'm not the one running invisibility, so.
Yep, it's just an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
1 hour to finish this plan.
I will keep one dagger on me.
Okay, are you attempting to conceal that in any way, or are you just sort of leaving it out?
I will kind of leave it out as almost as the kind of if worse comes to worse, then I will try to pass it off as kind of like a ceremonial, just kind of, oh hey, it's part of the law.
And obviously you can try and conceal it before uninvisibling. There is an hourglass, if you wish. They have very small hourglasses. Most of you would have one of these that last quite literally an hour.
Convenient.
And these can be popped in a pocket, whatever. They tend to be pretty consistent. They're used as timekeeping devices. The watch hasn't been invented, though the clock has. So obviously, once you're in, there will be clocks. But realistically, it'll be up to you to keep an eye on how long you've got left of invisibility. Not out of game, like player-wise, I'll keep you informed. But as a character, it will be up to you to keep track of it, because obviously Nonary is not going to be around.
Of course.
It should also go without mentioning, but I will just give a warning, because I know that sometimes players make this mistake. Please, Nonary, do not forget that if you cast a concentration spell, you will reveal your rogue wherever the hell he is. We had a little...
I don't know if we have very many of them. That also goes for any spells that take more than one action to cast, which would be any rituals.
No.
Yeah.
But yes, no ritual casting. We had a lovely moment. I think it was Josh actually who just sort of cast a concentration spell and went, "Oh shit, my hour-long hex I was looking after. Oh well." So just thought I'd make sure of that. Right. Well, before we get there, we have to go there. And the one thing is that, Royal, what sort of thing are you wearing right now?
Whatever was provided by Hotfinger's friends, that looks, fairly gaudy and obvious. We're not going for subtle here, which is going to be a problem in Dead Town, but they want to be a distraction, so probably some sort of, jesters or acrobats costume.
Yep.
Did we decide last time that we figured out a way around Dead Town?
We're on the edge of Dead Town.
Yeah, we don't have to go on that, so we'll make sure to go that way.
Yeah, but you're still heading, through workers' towns, and basically there's a lot of soot, there's a lot of dirt. The streets are quite narrow. There's a smoke hanging around, and you guys are walking, right?
Someone has prestidigitation, right?
I have prestidigitation. We can clean up in the alley when we get there.
I also have prestidigitation.
Okay, so between the two of you, you sort of can clean up a little bit as you get there. You look a little out of sorts as you exit. These bright colours sort of in amongst the dark, misery-clad workers of the city. Go ahead, Jen.
I just, because I'm supposed to look like a scullery maid, I'm gonna follow at a distance to not associate with this brightly colored crowd.
Yeah. And perhaps, you could probably walk alongside Eli, who is dressed as a cleaner, right? For now. So we kind of split.
Yeah, we can walk separately. We just need to come together for a second in an alley when we get closer there.
And you guys had done your scout. Specifically, Eli had done enough scouting that he was able to stop across the road, right, and notice a place where it would be. Because you're also going through two different entrances, so obviously we will need to make sure that happens.
I'll say literally on the opposite sides of the building. They're going because the entertainers' entrance was on the right-hand side. The servants' quarters or servants' entrances were on the left-hand side.
Yeah. But at the moment, you guys sort of got the colourful group and the not so colourful servanty group behind, mostly keeping yourselves. And sort of as you begin to get a little closer to the noble district, you begin to see processions of carriages, carts. It's a good job you weren't turning up as guests, because nobody is arriving on foot, right? Apart from the servants, obviously. Even the bards sort of arriving in carriages and such. But there are a few people who, as you approach, and we come to the... I'll just pop up the thingy for now. Just bear with me a second. And I would like to inform you again, it is still your face that is getting covered by the summoned ducklings. That's good, isn't it? So, if you recall, the main entrance for sort of guests was at the front door, down here. The main entrance for the servants is on the left-hand side. And important bards would go through the front door. But you're not important, you're sort of light entertainment. It is up to you guys to try and ascertain whether you go through a sort of servants slash the cooks, the chefs, all of those sort of people's entrance, or whether you attempt to go through the big entrance where they were bringing in stuff like large parties of food, the stage, that sort of thing. So Eli saw that happening on the right-hand side. Rufus saw that coming in on the right-hand side of the map over here. But they were, huge carts, not a walking entrance. Yeah.
We take the servants' entrance.
We probably both do servants.
Okay.
That also has the perk of we will be a big distraction to let invisible Rufus go in around us.
So as you get sort of to a little point opposite where the servants' entrance is, servants' entrances are, I should say, really quite specifically. Royal, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Sure. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's flat for me. Yep, sure is. That's a 15?
Okay, cool. So as you're watching, you notice that there are a series of servants' entrances. In terms of at the actual building, Rufus was able to establish that there were 5 entrances. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about through the gates. There is one sort of main entrance, and then there's one little tiny gate further down to the left. At this point, with your passive insight, you'll quickly realize that the larger entrance is for entertainers and, top chefs and people bringing produce and various other people who are there to do useful things. And then, the cleaners and the chambermaids, they're going through the servants' entrance. It is at this point, as you stand opposite, that I hand back to you.
Yeah, July, Royal will point out to the little entrance where, people that look a lot like what July currently looks like are going through. And then they'll point to the other 4 of us, excluding Rufus, and to the slightly bigger one of the service ones. Are we all good to go? Anything before we start casting spells?
Before you guys do it, Cinder will sort of say, whoever has the hourglass, turn it over a little bit before the spell is cast. That way, when it runs out, it won't be like a direct sort of oh, it runs out, now I'm visible again. You have a few sort of those seconds to, build up to it.
Good idea. All right. Best of luck to all of us. I'd say try not to draw too much attention, but I guess that's exactly what we're trying to do. If things go too far south, get the hell out of there and try to go back to the house as quickly and as unseen as possible. We can make excuses. We can't fight an entire city guard. So...
If things go really far south and you think it's not safe to go to the house, can we agree to meet up at that tavern where we first met Kaylana?
I think that's a good idea.
We're gonna get stabbed if we go there.
No. Kaylana made it quite clear that tavern was safe ground for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're also not confident about the house, you could meet Lem a couple blocks from it, and Lem might have another idea of where to go.
Good old Leadhead.
I don't think he would. But
He's full of ideas. Don't do any of them any good, but he's full of them.
For people have told him to go at various points. That's the only.
Okay. What I'm gonna do actually at this point, guys, is I'm gonna get 3 tokens, if you don't mind. We will use these somewhat. So we'll start with Rufus, because obviously Rufus, you're going to be maneuvering on your own. July as a servant. And then for the entire entertainment group, who's quite obvious, I'm going to use Nonneries.
What?
Because that's really nice and easy to see.
The entertainment group may split slightly at some point, but that should work for now.
You won't split across the entire building, right? You'll just split across a couple of chambers. So, as you guys look out over the entrance, we will come back to this map later. Is the point. That's why I put the tokens down. So, who's approaching the gate? In what order? Who's casting what? When? Where? Go.
So when we're off to the side, before invisibility gets up, because it'll make it much harder to cast this, Royal's going to boop July and Rufus on the nose, and we'll twin cast Enhance ability. It's Eagle Splendor on July, which is advantage on all charisma checks for the next hour. And it is Cat's Grace on Rufus, which is advantage on all dexterity throws, and you ignore the first 20 feet of fall damage For some
shit,
reason, you
no.
fall out the window. That's a second level spell slot and 2 sorcery points.
That should not have been well played. Sir.
Beautiful.
That's what I was looking for.
I suppose as well I will cast invisibility on Rufus, making sure no one can possibly see this happening as well, of course.
Yeah, like
You guys are
and-
like tucked back in the shadow. I think
Yeah.
Royal and Cinder are sort of standing out the front, looking flashy and gaudy and distracting.
yeah, like 15 seconds before he casts, I will turn over the.
Yep, you
The
pop your hourglass.
hourglass.
Yep, and it's fair to say I think every single one of you would pop an hourglass, right? They're like a silver piece. You would all have them, so it's worth noting. Like you can all keep track of time as you go. Nonary, you do not need an hourglass. At any given time, you will know exactly how long it's been.
Well, he might need it for
Because
other
that's
reasons.
how flumps work underground, right? Sonically. No, he will always know exactly what time it is and how long it's been.
That's
It's a
dope.
flump thing. I was reading about flumps earlier.
As one does.
Yes,
The
flumps
more
and
you
mind
know.
flayers, both apparently always know what time it is. Anyway, more importantly, as Rufus, how are you gonna sort of try and get in? Are you gonna go along with
The troop.
No, July. There we go. My brain was just going, Stevie. It would not go any further. It's because this overlay doesn't have character names underneath people's faces, and obviously it's what I see. So yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I will go. I will follow about like 5 or so feet behind July.
Hoping to squeeze through the gate when she goes through, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, we'll follow you two for now. July. You see the small servant's entrance with a little gate.
Well, I'm gonna first just try to look like I belong, which for a servant, I'm going to kind of hunch over and look like I'm very nervous and try to scuttle through very quickly like I'm late for work.
Okay. As you arrive, the gate is closed. There are 2 guards either side. And you notice he's sort of got his arm resting on the gate handle. Like, he just keeps swinging it open, swinging it closed. And as you sort of walk up, he looks at you. He's quite a tall, imposing bugbear. His partner is a goblin. And he looks down at you, the bugbear, and... Do I recognize you?
Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm late for work. I just got hired. It's my first day. I really need this job. Please let me in. I'm so sorry.
Oh, wait. Did nobody make a note of the new servants that we were getting? We had extra... Oh. Go on in. I'm sure you can't cause too much trouble.
Scurry
He
right.
sort of swings the
Thank you,
door
sir.
open. I need a stealth and an acrobatics check if you're going to attempt to go in with her. As this gate is going to go open, closed.
Oh, good.
Only have the advantages on both.
Is it too late for me to attempt to trip or something so the gate stays open?
No, not at all. If that's something, in the reaction, you want to just hesitate a bit and he'll
if I
sort of
see him
get
trying
on
to
with
sling
it.
it shut, or just trip
So-
so it stays
Give
up
me a
for little
performance
while.
check. Let's see how authentic it is.
Woo, I
With
get a
advantage
unit
from the
on
charisma.
Yeah. Okay. Oh god. All right, that's gonna be a total of 14.
Okay, it was a decent enough performance. They weren't paying too much attention. Sort of as you trip and catch yourself, Rufus, your stealth check first, please.
Natural 20
Sick.
for a total of 29.
You are completely inaudible. How is the acrobatics to get through the door? Also at advantage, right? That is a dexterity
It's all
check.
Because it's still
dexterity.
dex.
Yeah.
Ooh, not as good, but that is a natural 18 plus 7 for a 25.
A 25, yeah, plenty more. You sort of
too good.
slip in sideways, and not only, were you clever enough to get in at the same time, but you're also able to sort of get a good moment. As you pass by the guard's pockets, you do see a set of keys dangling out. If you wish to make a snatch for them, given you've garnered yourself enough time, you may attempt if you wish.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
And then give me a sleight of hand check with advantage.
Come on.
Sleight of hand, that is a soft 20.
Nice. Dirty 20. Yeah, so you sort of nip the keys really quickly. And sort of, Royal, July, you feel like a slight brush against you as Rufus sort of lets you know, and then he's off.
Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna keep on, like, I'm rushing in, like, thank you, sir, thank
and
you.
it's you we're gonna follow. As you come on into the, what do we call it? The servants' quarters. There's sort of everything. There's not a telephone going on, though. There's a lot of things going on, but there's no telephones. That's not what I was looking for. There we go. Yeah, you sort of come in, and there's a bustle and a hustle going on. There is a huge human woman standing in the entranceway, sort of attending to people. And is this really not going to do anything? Okay, cool. Let's just change that up. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Okay, bear with me a second. I'm just going to refresh. Let's roll 20.
My hands are so sweaty right now.
Knees weak, arms heavy.
Oh my god. Get out. Get out.
Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you enter, this sort of huge human woman is standing in the doorway, and she looks down at you and... You're one of the new ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Get yourself to Mabel. She's over there.
Okay, thank you.
And she sort of points at an orc woman who's sat at the wall. This orc woman is brandishing a rolling pin like a weapon. And sort of looking over everybody.
Is there like a crowd of servants that are like...
There are people going everywhere, like left, right. There are people coming in with dishes, going out with canapé dishes, coming in with empty plates. Somebody's just dropped an entire tray of champagne glasses over to the left. Somebody's screaming about prawns. And as you come in, you just sort of see this orc woman standing there, rolling pin at the ready, and she looks at you, and that's all she does. Just raises her head at you.
I'll give her like a dip of the head, and then I'm gonna rush over as if I'm gonna help clean up the champagne.
She just sort of reaches out and grabs you by the back of the neck, pulls you over, and are you stupid?
Yes, ma'am.
Good answer. She sort of looks at you, and I'd assume you're one of the new ones.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. You'll be on drinks running duty. Over there, trays are coming out. Wine glasses. Grab a tray, take it out. When it's empty, bring it back. Don't bring it back half full. Don't bring it back a quarter full. Don't drop it. Make sure you go round. Don't speak to the guests. Eyes down, hands up. Off you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go.
Can I have a strength check with disadvantage, please? As you are a small goblin at this particular moment in time. It's a pretty low DC, but it's just to see how well you're handling this.
5.
Okay, cool. So as you sort of exit out with this tray, you're sort of tilting around a little bit. The wine in the glasses is swaying from side to side. And a really graceful half-elf in a servant's outfit sort of leans to the side, and she just sort of casually slides a hand under one side of your tray and looks down at you. First day?
Yes.
Alright, don't worry about it. Hold the tray for one moment, and she starts to pull some of the wine glasses off and put them on her tray, which is sort of massively full. You can see she's been doing this for years and years. And sort of as she rests it, she shows you sort of how to adjust and hold the tray a little bit better, and she's sort of, go on out there, darling, you'll be absolutely okay. Head round clockwise, start to the left.
Okay, thank you.
And, sweetie, don't talk to the guests.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as you head out, she sort of launches out like a dancer. Sort of full tilt into the room. And you will immediately see that there are a large group of musicians standing up on the sort of on a large podium looking out over everybody. And we're going to come back to you in a moment. As we will turn to the rest of you who are at the gate.
Walk up to the larger serpent's entrance, the one that seems to have like some of the entertainers and stuff.
So 4 uniformed guards, all half-orcs, all quite burly, standing there, and 1 hobgoblin who is in full armor, who has a pistol and a sword. And as you approach, he looks over to you and he pulls out his clipboard. Names?
I'm Illum. We're Illum's Arcana. We're here to work the crowd.
Another one. He looks...
Yes, we were already paid.
He looks back at... Not you! Silence! And he looks back and he sees a hobgoblin sort of the other side of the gate and... Walter! We've got another one of these bardic troops that have turned up. Goodness only knows how many victors booked. We seem to... Have you been paid?
Yes.
Oh, well, go on in then, I suppose. Weapon check first, but... Luna? Is that what you called yourself?
A loom.
A loom?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. Well, what do you do?
We're acrobats and jugglers and magicians. As way of explanations, they'll hold up the lantern they brought, they snap their fingers, it lights, and then they wave their hand in front of it, and a little card image appears in the light.
Like, he really sarcastic as Hobgoblin is just like, wow. And he's like, you could go in the entrance hall. No acrobatics in the entrance hall, please. There's champagne going around. But go into the entrance hall and main door, and just sort of filter out. Don't cause too much hassle. Don't cause too much trouble. Now, if you'd like to just sort of come here for searching, please.
Yep.
Oh.
Royal just goes, arms out. Bat down.
Yep. And sort of as you put your arms out, he sort of pats you all down. Is any one of you four attempting to conceal anything that you are carrying at all?
Nope.
Okay. Cinder, the guard sort of looks at you, the big burly half-orc, and what's this for? And he sort of taps your goggles.
It helps me see when I'm casting magic and such.
Give him here. And he sort of... and then he hands them back. They don't seem to do anything for me. Get in! And then he just sort of... he sort of pats Asta down quite quickly and gestures him to go onwards. And when Nonnery turns up, he turns to his pal and he goes, I don't even know how to search this thing! And the other one sort of looks back and, I think you just sort of... and then he sort of... he looks at you and, I'm very sorry if I'm touching anything I shouldn't. And then he sort of spins you on the spot in a way like way too fast for Nonnery's liking, as he's sort of being whizzed around. He looks at, the one looks down to you and, you're one of those flump things, right? We had a fantastic flump entertainer a while back. An entire play in our minds. Genius! Anyway, on you go! And the other one was sort of, I don't like it! And you can get in and head down the main sort of courtway entrance. I need an insight check from whoever's leading the group. Which I'm guessing is probably Royal.
Royal is at the front. That's a 7.
Great. You look and there's like 2 streams divided into another 2 streams a bit further down. You work out that you're not in the cart line, but the other 3 lines you're just sort of...
Can I attempt?
Well, Royal is leading you, so I think, unless you really think that, and none of you have the passive insight to really think that it's wrong, so as you follow Royal, you get towards the main doors and there's a hobgoblin.
My passive insight is 17.
I know. Yeah, there is a red hobgoblin who comes out and looks at you all. And... Entertainers?
Yes. Where to go to the entrance hall?
Well, that would be the one door. But you seem to be in the wrong queue. I will need you to just wait one moment over there, please. And he sort of gestures, and you see the slow plodding line that's going in on the left, and it's like, aha, right, we're not important enough to get in quickly. In you shuffle. At this point, they've only moved Royal. Are the rest of you sticking with Royal, or are you going to attempt to continue in the line you were in?
Well, I see that
we know
Royal's
what
the
line
one
we're in?
leading us.
Yeah, so all 4 of you are in the sort of slightly swifter line next to the slow-moving line on the left. Not the really quick line of the really well-dressed people, but not the really slow-moving line to your left. It looks like they're only going to move Royal into the slow line.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Cinder would be paying attention to that. I don't think he would have noticed.
Well, you've been following Royal, and she gets moved.
Well, no.
Are you just going to follow Royal?
I think
okay.
Cinder would follow.
What about Astra and Notary?
Asta definitely isn't. He is not really paying much attention to what's going on around. Especially now that we're in a queue, he's probably just like staring at the ground, and the moment he sees the bottom of the person in front of his shoes move, he just takes a step forward.
Nonori, as far as you can see, Asta, who is in front of you, is just walking onwards, but you do see Royal and Cinder move into the left-hand lane. What's your plan?
I'll kind of tap Aster's shoulder with one of my tentacles, and I'll speak to him telepathically. It appears as though that they are moving elsewhere. Let us follow.
That's up to Asta. Asta?
Can I reply back telepathically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I'll just say... but what if we need to cover more ground? If we're all in one corner and problems happen in another corner, we need someone in that corner to distract. Yes.
And then I'll kind of look to where Royal is and speak with him telepathically. It appears as though you are moving elsewhere. Should we remain here in this time?
If they let you stay in it, that's fine. I wouldn't push it if they also ask you to leave. But just stick to the story, and if they let you in, that's great. Cinder and I will be over here attending to cut in line.
You do notice that there is nobody being stopped at the door. Once you're in the gate, you're in the door, right? But Asta, you will quickly, as the door sort of opens and you go in, you'll quickly realize the problem with you being in this line, as suddenly there are no shoes in front of you, and instead there are people crisscrossing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And as you come in, sort of, a woman grabs your arm and, oh, sorry, never mind, and walks away. And almost instantaneously, a small goblin holding a tray of drinks sort of almost bumps into you. And July, you notice that you've sort of been sent out the kitchen, and the door exits directly into the entrance hall, right next to the door, so that you can give people drinks as quickly as possible. That's why she sent you that way. And as you look up, you sort of notice straight away that it's Asta, who's looking a little lost.
The usual.
Like almost speaks, but then she remembers she's been told not to speak to the guests, so she just with a drink tray.
I still kind of look down and like not knowing what to do and go like, yes, I'll take one of those. Do you know where a big area is where people are that I could entertain?
With your insight already, Asa, you will have seen a few people flitting around doing card tricks, and sort of there's one guy who's got magical lights above his head. It's pretty obvious that this is the area the entertainers are going.
Oh, but I wanted a stage.
Oh, there is a big stage, but at the moment there's a large orchestra on it.
Get off!
They're playing this music that you're hearing right now.
Just picks up the drum kit and throws it.
There's definitely a drum kit in Shostakovich's.
Then I guess I'll, like, after picking up the glass, I'll put it back down, and then I will, like, gesture with one hand, and several dancing lights will appear, and I will, not actually juggling them, but pretend to juggle them, as I then walk around, kind of looking like I just really don't belong here.
July, you see him sort of wander past, a little lost. He looks like he's juggling the lights for himself, and suddenly this sort of goblin just wraps him on the side of the shoulder, and we need an entertainer over there! Over there! Yes, just by the stage over there, come on, keep someone occupied. The ladies are having to wait for their champagne. Awful, somebody dropped a whole tray, come on, over there, go!
Oh, as I'm juggling, all of them will go up and then just not come back down as I stop concentration on them, and then I'll head on over to where the ladies are.
Cool. And then, sort of after a little while, Royal, Cinder, and Nonnery, you manage to sort of get through on the left-hand lane. And as soon as you get in, the same goblin who has dealt with Asta sort of comes over and taps his staff and... entertainers?
Yes.
Do any of you sing? We need a singer.
I can sing, yes.
Great. Stage. Left side.
Alright.
It's someone's
Royal,
birthday.
Go on over there.
It's someone's birthday. The music will stop.
As we're walking, they pass the lantern to Cinder.
Okay.
Just look pretty.
Yeah. Her name is Martha.
Why did you say that name?
It's someone's birthday.
So he's just sort of telling you that the name of the person whose birthday it is Martha, right? And then as you sort of get to the stage, true to his word, the music just cuts. And really, really short goblin stands up and said, and nothing sort of is coming out, and he looks over to somebody else and he sort of waves, and the other guy comes over and sort of looks at something that's attached to his throat and turns it round and sticks it on properly, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Martha's birthday today, isn't that great? Here we have... You're not Eliza, what happened to Eliza? Never mind, here we have a singer, of... What's your name, lass?
Alum.
Alum. We have a singer. So, if you would, and then he sort of gestures, it's Martha's birthday! And the orchestra sort of picks up and begins playing Happy Birthday. Give me a performance check, Roy.
Yeah.
You'll be the birthday
That's
singer.
30-20.
Great. Afterwards, he's sort of, his microphone off. There's a sort of hip hip hooray and a congratulations and all of this, and 3 wizards are shooting out like funny fuzzy lights over the thing. One of them almost hits Astra on the side of the head. Cinder and Nonnery, with you having left them, are sort of wandering around completely aimlessly. But he sort of leans over to you and, you're not bad. Do you know what happened to Eliza? Are you Eliza's replacement?
No idea. I was supposed to work the crowd, but we're good general entertainers.
Oh, good. Well, that's fantastic. You can go back to it. Go and entertain the crowd if you came with the troupe. No acrobatics until later
Yes, we were
on,
warned
until the
about that,
champagne
yes.
is served.
Well-
Great. On you go. And with that, he really has forgotten to care anymore.
Yep.
And the orchestra sort of have wandered off behind you. And coming out on the stage is some jazz musicians, and they sort of move out. They sort of playing as they enter the stage. And I'll take an insight check from July, from Royal, and from Asta. Probably from Cinder as well, because you're in 4 different groups, right?
Yeah, kind of at this point.
July got a 20.
That was
25?
I got
9.
23.
23? And Royal?
15.
Yep.
9.
9. Great. Everybody other than Royal swiftly notices that the situation's taking on a little bit of a different turn as things become a bit more graceful. July, you will have worked out that the main guests have all arrived now. And it's time for sort of the main food and drink. And pretty swiftly, the half-elf who spoke to you before will sort of tap you on the shoulder and walk you back into the kitchen, and the drinks have changed. It's simply that you're now moving on to the red wines and the canapes. And you're given a tray of hot canapes and sent back out. And we come to Rufus. Rufus, as you, we're going to rewind time a little bit. As you see the 4 entrances on the side. 5 entrances, sorry, I think. Let me just pull us back here. Yep. I was right, 4 entrances. No, 5 entrances, cool, we see that. You see, like, the very sort of small servants' entrance, which is the second from the top, the kitchen entrance. What looks like a couple of sort of side back entrances that nobody appears to be using right now. And then slightly larger ones sort of for the main guests and such. Not main guests, but like main important servants and etc. Where are you wanting to head? All the doors are open. All 5 doors are open.
None of them clearly seem to head upstairs, or they're just kind of entryways.
From where you're standing, all of them head onto the ground floor, right? That's all you can see until you're inside. You have had a brief look at the blueprints. You know the stairs down from the kitchen are in the kitchen entrance, so here. But for the most part, you'd have known that either the bottom two entrances or the back entrance, plus a lot of halls and corridors, is what's going to be necessary to get upstairs. There's a service stairs sort of by the secondary kitchen, but that'll be very busy. You'll know that.
Sure. Then I would have kept following July, and as she went in the kitchen entrance, I would have kind of used her as extra cover to kind of sneak in and made my way to the stairs.
Okay, so you're going out the back of the kitchen as opposed to through into the ballroom. So I'm just gonna sort of the ballroom is currently here. Yeah, this is the current room they're using. That's the dining room, living room area with the chamber and the open hall. I mean, effectively they're using sort of everything from. Let's do a little line. They're using sort of all of this area to entertain.
Okay.
And the stairs up are that way, right? Or, if you prefer, through the drawing room. So, as you come to the back of the kitchen, you sort of see an entrance that, if you just take a little peek, you notice immediately there's a sort of tea room and drawing room, and there are 2 or 3 relatively important-looking people discussing something and sort of drinking a properly served tea. And then there's another sort of swinging, rotating door that takes you into a main passageway that you sort of, if you peek your head round, you'll see as a sort of, it's a long corridor where various guests who look like they know where they're going are wandering up and down.
Quick question. When I poke my head into the drawing room, do I glean anything of what those important folk are discussing?
Go ahead and give me a perception check. If you get any advantage on hearing, it's hearing you're trying to do. I don't know if you do. But...
Alas, I do not. Don't need it. Natural 20.
Nice. Yeah, so you sort of hear two elderly goblins arguing, and immediately you ascertain that these are the accounts managers for the lord and the lady. And one of them is sort of defending the younger the heir's choice to spend as much as he has on the party, and the other one is sort of going, well, we're going to have to take money from here and there, and you get the impression that the Peveron finances are not doing brilliantly right now.
Interesting.
After a little while, if you sort of want to continue hearing, you will need to enter the room, so you only get sort of 8 or 10 seconds to work that out.
Yeah, knowing my time is finite, and as interesting as this is, I kind of...
If you're heading through that way, you will hear more, but if you choose to go out in the corridor, obviously you won't.
I said there's no way to get... Is there a way to get to the stairs through here?
Through the drawing room? Yeah, most definitely. So there's an exit out to the... Oh, I'm drawing dots. There's an exit out to the passageway, but there's also a sort of... another sort of more closeted sort of drawing room with skylights out. And as you look through the tea room, you see past them into the drawing room, and past that you see a spiral staircase leading up. Realistically, it's going to be the same staircase either way. It's just that they're back to back. From your memory of the blueprints, give me a intelligence survival check. So intelligence check, but if you have a proficiency in survival, add your proficiency modifier.
Yeah, that's going to be a no from me. Intelligence check. 13?
Yeah. Okay. So you've done a little bit of sort of translating maps into your current actions, right? And you know that this is 2 staircases back to back. One of them is the main guest's usage, and the one behind it is the service staircase, which is probably a little more cramped, but that's also where sort of goods would go up and down, leading you into sort of a system of service corridors that are behind the rooms, if you like, within the walls. So it's basically a choice of go out into the passage and join the servant staircase, or go through the main entrance and be on the guests' passageways.
having looked at the blueprints, would one give me a more... I mean, obviously I still have to go all the way around.
They are
regardless.
both going to be almost exactly the same walk, just one is behind walls, likely to pass servants, and one is in front of walls, likely to pass guests. Or members of the household, etc.
I will go through the servant entrance.
Okay.
The servant stair.
Yeah. So, we follow you out into the main corridor. There are some guests that really look like they know where they're going, sort of walking along down the center, along a sort of long red carpet. And to the right and left, either side, are the walls, which sort of shelter over a little bit, and you notice that all the servants keep close to the walls. And at various moments, they sort of pop indoors and just disappear off into the servants' areas. You sort of count your doors, remembering, and then duck into a door, and you realize that the servants' entrance is the servants' stairs are sort of through this door, a little cubby, and immediately you see that they go down and up, and there are two dwarves attempting to heave 2 kegs of ale up the stairs, from below you to above you. If that makes sense. Do you want to try and slip out in front of them, or are you going to slowly wait behind them?
If I know I have to go up, then yeah, I'll just kind of quickly... And then
Okay, you're going to attempt to slip out in front of them? Okay, give me a dexterity check, as you do. It's a straight dexterity check. No proficiency, no anything.
What is that? 22.
Great. Yeah, so you slip out ahead, and you realize almost immediately that you made a great decision, as one of the barrels leaves the dwarves' hands and starts bouncing down the stairs before shattering. If you were behind, that would have been under or on top of you. Instead, what you see is 2 women come storming down towards you to find out what's happening. Both of them in servants' wear. One of them is very large, and she's wielding a rolling pin. She's an orc, wielding a rolling pin like she's going to hit someone.
I will pull a Kronk from Emperor's New Groove when he's trying to be sneaky and just basically... against the wall.
Okay, you lost me there so quickly. Okay, that's very important. Are you going to try and flatten yourself against the central pillar of the spiral staircase or the outside wall?
Are they walking like shoulder
Give me
to shoulder?
an intelligence insight check here. So, intelligence check, if you have insight modifiers, add them. Nope.
Not great, Bob. That's a natural 1.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you haven't got a clue. You've got to look and you have to pick one. 50-50.
Wall.
Outside wall. Okay,
Yeah.
you move to the outside wall, and sort of the fat woman is leaning against starts to lean against the what do you call it? The handrail, right? And you're forced to sort of squat down, legs wide. You're sprayed against the wall as her arm nearly hits you 4 times over. And she's sort of turning around, what are you doing? Everything's dropping down the whole way. That wine's expensive. Who do you think you are? And sort of make a dex save as this rolling pin sort of clatters out towards the wall.
Does the enhanceability affect dex
No,
save?
it's only checks. It will not help you on saves.
Okay. The natural 16 plus 7, 23.
Oh, great, yeah. This rolling pin sort of at your head, at your midriff, and each time you're sort of out the way, completely silent. You're able to maintain your composure. And pretty swiftly, her and the dwarves begin to head out into the corridor you just came from. And you're left with an empty corridor. At this point, we'll leave you there and come over to Cinder and Nonnery. Cinder and Nonnery as...
so goddamn sweaty.
Good, that's what we like. Cinder and Nonnery as your... There we go. As you guys are sort of just come in the doorway, you've seen Royal go up and sing. You see Asta sort of over to your right somewhere, left somewhere, sorry, dancing lights, juggling, and attempting to occupy a large group of ladies. Are you going to attempt to get to Royal, or are you going to go over towards Asta? I'll come to you in a moment, Josh.
I feel like Cinder kind of is just going to... He sort of just hope that Royal comes back, honestly. He's the only one here who has absolutely no magic that can help him in this situation. So he has nothing, and he's not, the skillful juggling type either. So,
Okay.
he has he has nothing he can do to entertain that isn't like I can summon a little fire in my hand. That's about it.
Okay, so as you're sort of hesitating there with Nonnery, a very well-dressed half-orc comes up to you and, excuse me, sir, are you Mephoso? He's to you, Cinder.
Yeah, Cinder's gonna look at him just like, am I a what?
Mephoso, the fire breather, you know. You can do, and the fire it come out, you know, and you eating it, and it was a fire genasi. No, he said he was going to be here.
He'll summon it in his hand, and then he'll put it like over his mouth, like he'll summon fire, and then like look like he's trying to eat it, right? But then he's basically just gonna produce flames out of his hands like that.
Exactly, this is a guy. You might not be Mephoso, I don't care. I need your attention, please. Basically, we have a little bit of a problem. There is an argument brewing between two of the guests on the right-hand side of the room. If you just head over there and you start to do big fire, maybe they're distracted and they don't hit each other with sticks, you know? Good, on you go. And he just sort of shoves you that way. As you get over there, are you going to, Cinder, go exactly where he's told you to and attempt to entertain them?
He's gonna go to the area. He's going to find the spot that is open. Mm-hmm. He's going to sort of like aim as up as he can without hitting the ceiling, and he's gonna do exactly what he just did.
Okay. Produce flames and sort of just blowing it, right?
Well, what he's doing, right, is he's summoning the flames and making it look like he's eating it, because the fire-eating aspect of it, right? And then he's gonna pretend like he's blowing it back out, but in all honesty, he's just cupping it in his hand and he just shoots it out.
After a short moment, a tiefling puts his hand on your shoulder, and you notice that your flames are beginning to dance as dragons in the sky. And he leans over at you and, excuse me, sir, I think you're stealing my role. I'm Mephoso. I do the fire stuff, you know?
He's gonna turn, he's like, listen, man, I was just told to come here. He was like, fire genasi? Alright, fire show.
They thought I was a fire genasi? Damn.
I don't know. Listen, man, you know who it is. Right?
It's because I can do this. And with that, he sort of clicks his fingers, and his whole body is like writhing in flames, right? Writhing in flames. And he sort of looks at you and, I tell you what, it will make my life a lot easier if you keep up that flame thing, and I'll play with it. We're a team, right? And then he sort of claps you on the shoulder. I'm Mephoso. What's your name?
He'll sort of be like, I'm Cinder. And he's literally couldn't think of anything
else. The name
else.
sorts. We'll be fire and flame tonight, right? You be fire, I'll be flame. Fantastic, let's go. With that, he sort of gestures for you to move over, and sort of start doing it in this direction. And you do notice the two hobgoblins, who were sort of right up in each other's faces, are now sort of looking over and watching the dragon as it sort of zooms over the crowd. Asta, you look over and you see Royal coming down from the stage. You're performing for these ladies, are you?
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna juggle.
No, that's fine. You can perform however you wish. It's what you were doing when you went over, right? Because we keep time skipping back each time we come to a new person. So you just let the lights go up in the air and then walked over, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're picking up.
Okay, yeah. So I just kind of walk over to find out what exactly has happened. What they're arguing about.
It's pretty quick that Benji, welcome back to the Quack Pack. 26 months, thanks for the support, thanks for the sub. Sorry, I had a moment there, I just thought I would. So yeah, you notice immediately that there is a sort of tray on the ground. There's champagne bubbling all over the steps and stairs. And there's a gaggle of women around who basically their big complaint seems to be that they want to be drinking champagne. Although one of them seems devastated that her shoes are dirty.
Well, I can't do anything about dirty shoes. But I will nervously turn to them and say, wait, before... what were they drinking champagne?
Well, no, they weren't drinking anything. The champagne got to the floor in front of them. Yes.
Yeah, they wanted to drink champagne. Okay. Champagne's fizzy, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I was just gonna say to them, yes, you could be drinking something fizzy and sparkly, but wouldn't you like to look it instead? And with a gesture with his hand, he will get them all to make a dex save.
They won't make saves.
Okay, then they take a fireball. No. like
If you had it.
this shower of dark blue light and stars kind of fall over them as the stars like stick to their body as they're outlined in this kind of white silvery glow.
Nice. And sort of at this point, the lady sort of, one of them sort of really obviously not very bright. I would say she's blonde, but she's not because she's bald. A Vidalcan lady sort of looks over at you and, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm stars. I'm stars. And then she starts turning around and she goes, ladies, I'm a star! And begins to sort of dance to the music. And immediately she slips in the champagne and begins to go over. Do you want to try and catch her, or are you just going to let her go?
Yeah, I'll try and catch her, but like kind of in like not really meaning to, but I kind of want to, like almost like I'm dipping her in a dance so that the other ladies don't like, you know.
Perfect. You can choose between a dex save and a performance check. I have no idea which of those is more useful for you.
I'll go for the dex.
Okay, cool. The full wisdom con character is like, why?
13.
Yeah, great. So you sort of catch her and dip her down and sort of, and I got myself a dance partner. And then she sort of grabs you round the shoulders and she begins to lead you in a jazz dance in the champagne. Nonary, Royal, you sort of, one of you behind him, one of you in front of him are just seeing this. And it's up to you where you two are going and what you're doing. Give me 6 seconds.
Royal will like make eyes at Nonary and like tap their head.
You'll hear something in your head then, I guess, if we're doing this.
Sorry, I heard Royal will make eyes with...
At Nonary, we're having a chat for a second.
Right.
So
Okay. Cool.
I didn't want to make bold face announce. Please, can we have a telepathic conversation, Nonary? Why don't you stick with Aster? Since hopefully he'll be able to move around when his dance partner's done. If you or anyone else that lets you notice something that seems to be going awry elsewhere in the house, give me a heads up. Otherwise, I'm gonna go make nice with the birthday girl.
Very well. Enjoy your time.
So Royal sends Nonary off to hopefully rescue Aster, or at least keep him from being like permanently kidnapped by the woman dancing with him. And then Royal is specifically gonna go see how close they can get to the birthday girl after she was pointed out, Martha.
Oh, Martha, yes.
Yeah, she's.
I mean, realistically, you're walking almost directly towards Aster here. She's in the gaggle of women, and in fact, she was the one whose shoes got covered in champagne. And she's sort of, I am absolutely appalled at this service. Ridiculous. Nobody here seems to have worked here for more than one day. I'm wet. These shoes were 375 gold pieces.
Royal is gonna then also pretty much follow Nonary step for step and go up to her and is gonna offer a hand and try and get Martha to sit for a second, just like kind of gestures to either the nearest chair or the steps.
What do you want, servant?
To fix your shoes.
Very well, I guess.
So Royal helps her like sit down, and then she
takes a seat, but sort of, do you know, in that sort of teenage girl way, she just, you know, she just sort of slumps down and she looks at you like, get on with it.
Royal will slip off the shoes and we'll prestidigitate them clean.
Don't you seal them?
Fingers. They wouldn't go with my entertainment outfit anyway.
Okay.
But look, all nice and clean. And then she slips it back onto Martha's foot, gives a wink.
Another lady comes up to her. Lady Grenworthy, when you've got your shoes back on, please, perhaps there's a dance for you shortly. Give me a history check, charisma history check, Royal. Let's see if you recognize.
That's... Yeah, history. Let's see. not. So that is still going to be a 22, though.
Fantastic. Yeah, you immediately, when you hear Lady Grenworthy, you're just like, oh shit, right? She is the most important lady of the Grenworthy noble household. She's an older human, sort of in her late 50s, early 60s. The Grenworthys are known to throw the best bulls in the whole of Valor. They have this huge, vaunted ballroom that's the envy of every other noble house. And she sort of drips money. And that's why she's been complaining about the service. Speaking about bad service, Royal, you are handed a... Royal? Sorry. July, you are handed a tray of champagne glasses and, like, told to get out there and get these women some champagne. After somebody, like, snatches the canapes out of your hand, like, pushes you away out the door. Royal and Asta are currently standing next to all these women. As this lady's just getting to her feet and she sort of makes eye contact with you.
Immediately drop my head and just hold the tray up.
Okay. And as she leans down, go ahead and give me a performance check, see how convincing you are. You can choose performance or deception, either one.
Okay. I got advantage on both of them. That's going to be an 18 total.
Okay. So yeah, you are able to sort of hold the tray quite dead still, eyes down to the ground. You make no sign that you notice or recognize Asta or Royal. The woman turns around to her friends. Now, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Actual service. Look at her. She doesn't move. Even when, and she sort of clicks in your face. Make a constitution check for me. Just to see if you can maintain concentration. If you have proficiency in acrobatics, you can add it. I doubt you do, but it's there.
I don't. That's going to be a total of 4.
Okay, so you like sort of hesitate and your head moves a little bit, and there's a minor titter, and she goes. She actually takes a moment. She looks at you and, sorry, darling. And then sort of she feels like even she's pushed you a little far, right? And then she starts to take glasses and hand them out to people, expecting you just to stay stock still.
Absolutely.
What I want to know is what Asta looks like as you're being treated like this. Asta, obviously you know that's July under there. Is he able to just sort of... Is he just completely oblivious? Is he paying attention? How does he feel in this moment? Sorry, I know you've got a mouthful.
So is he still dancing?
No. They finished. So she'd finished spinning you around. Everything stopped when the champagne arrived.
I don't know. I think he would want to do something, but I don't think he'd know how to without causing a problem.
Okay. And I think if you hesitate that long, Royal will sort of be next to you, and you perhaps you're a little reassured by Royal's arrival, right? And the lady sort of eventually, Lady Grenworthy, looks to you, Royal, and sort of, well, thank you, I guess. Something. It's been a rather shocking evening, if I'm being honest. And with that, she sort of wanders off towards this dance. And we will resume with Rufus. Rufus, you'll find yourselves in the upper corridors. You managed to make it upstairs. So I don't have an upstairs floor plan, but I kind of do, because we do have some of the upstairs rooms listed. So we're just going to sort of follow the floor plan round. And at the moment, you are currently here.
Okay.
As you get up the stairs, you see that you're in the servants' chambers. Servants' corridors. And there appears to be a host of a certain type of servant sprinting up and down the corridors. I'm assuming that you're probably not too familiar with servants in terms of within a large estate household like this.
Yeah, nothing on this scale.
Okay.
I've dealt with some just from, being part of the Admiralty, but in general, like something of this bougie, grandiose scale, not so much.
Indeed. So as you see them sort of various, they're all girls, they all appear to be between the ages of sort of 14 and 18, or if they're one of the smaller races, they're both younger, but in general, they're sort of young and small, and they're rushing up and down, each one of them holding sort of like a feather duster or some sort of cleaning equipment. And as you sort of look out, these corridors are really tight. it's going to be difficult to sort of pick your moment to get past. I'm going to need a stealth check as you sort of attempt to make your way through them.
Alright. Stealth 27.
Great. Yeah, you're able to sort of pick your way in and out of them. And pretty soon you'll notice that the doors along this corridor are leading out into various bedrooms. And pretty soon you'll realize what they're doing when one sort of slightly larger woman comes along the corridor holding some bed sheets, and another one comes out with a chamber pot, and you'll realize that they're readying the bedrooms for guests.
Sure.
At this point, are you going to continue along the servants' windy path, or are you going to attempt to move out into the open guests' quarters?
At this point, yeah, I assuming that with the frivolities being in full swing, that even if there are some guests up here,
It's fewer.
fingers crossed, it is fewer and far between. I'll head back into the.
As you move out, you see two sort of younger men, both of them quite well built. You think one might be a Kalishtar, possibly. The other one is humanoid, human-ish. And they are pushing some sort of large flat device along the ground. And behind it, the carpet is sparklingly clean, so you can assume that it's almost like a glorified Hoover mop thing. You're able to sort of just try and jump it if you want, as it's sort of taking the whole corridor up, or you can attempt to sort of wait in a doorway for it to come past.
Yeah. She knows me too well. Yeah, I'll push my luck. I'll jump it. I'll try to jump it.
I don't think you're pushing your luck. So with your stealth check of 27, you leap over it quite easily. It's making quite a loud whirring noise. And at this point, you get a sort of moment. And if you check that hourglass, you're 21 minutes down. Right? So you are beginning... You're a little pressed for time, actually, to be honest. At this point, you can decide whether you're going to attempt to go slowly and cautiously or start trying to pick up the pace and hope that the fact that you're not visible is enough to cover you. As you look around, these corridors are mostly... They're never empty, but they're quite deserted, right? There's always 1 or 2 people in view, but not 35.
I'll try to do that thing that, like, kids do at either, like, at school or even, like, in hotel hallways, where, like, they'll be, like, sprinting, and then, oh, hey, there's an adult. Nope, I'm just walking.
Okay.
I'm past. Okay, and I'm moving again.
And very swiftly, you find yourself at the edge of the corridor, and as you come around the corner, a very buxom woman, quite tall, almost 7 foot in height, orcish, wearing a beautiful ball gown, is flanked by sort of 12 or 15 servants. Sorry, she might not be orcish. Let me just double check that. I don't think she is orcish, actually.
They all look the same.
Do they?
I have no idea.
Where is it?
I just love the Darth.
Oh, okay, so no, she's not as big at all. She's a satyr. Sorry. Or satyr, I think the Americans say, right? She's a satyr.
Satyr, yeah.
Yeah, so she comes around in this gorgeous bull gown and she's flanked by like 12 or 15 servants. They're chattering and moving around. The dress isn't that new. You notice immediately that, like, she's not that rich, but God is she important. There's all these different people sort of talking to her, and go ahead and give me an intelligence check as you hear all of this information. If you have a perception modifier, you can add it.
Oh, thank God. Not that that's going to help at all. You said perception. That's a grand total of 6.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you hear the conversation, but you're not getting all the words, right? And within that, names are flying around that don't necessarily make sense to you. You glean that they're talking about lots of different people within the noble circles. but you don't even understand sort of why they're giving her this information. It's too much, it's too quick, and they're coming towards you. And you almost bump into them coming around the corner. You have a couple of moments, but you quickly realize that there is absolutely no way you're going to be able to go past them. Are you going to back up, or are you going to try and duck into a side room?
Is there an open door either side?
There are 2 rooms to you, just behind you, right and left. Neither door is open, though you get the impression that they are unlocked, because you've seen people go in and out of them.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just kind of, back up and then spin, kind of try to spin into one.
Okay. As the door sort of, you've got to get the door open and closed really quickly. Give me a sleight of hand check, see if you can do it nice and quickly and quietly.
Oh, thank God for, what is it, Cat's Grace? That is...
It's good. It does last an hour, right, Joe?
Yep, it's an hour, same as the invisibility.
Just double checking. It's not going to run out on him.
Double 6s, but that's a total of, not great, 13.
Okay, yeah, you get in and out in there really quickly, but there's just sort of this audible noise as it shuts. And one of the sort of servant girls, my lady, I think that door just opens on its own. Would you like me to check? And then you notice she comes, well, you won't notice anything, but you hear the sound of somebody walking closer to the door. And she sort of, yes, please. And the door doesn't just open a little bit. She slams the door open, stamps in. She's wearing a full breastplate. She's got a flail in one hand and a shield in the other. And she notices immediately, like she sees that the room is empty, and she begins to cast a spell. Incidentally, she has the shield sort of over her arm, so she's then like making the gesture sort of, it has somatic components and verbal components, if that's relevant.
Is she in the door frame, or is she actually
Yeah, she's standing like, well, she's walked in the room, shut the door behind her, she's got her back to the door, and she's casting. Yeah.
Fuck. I will take out 2 ball bearings from my pocket and just kind of throw one to the left and one to the right.
Okay. Yeah. Are you attempting to make them make noise?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. You sort of make it, and the noise sort of comes out. And she sort of looks vaguely like she might be a tiny bit distracted for a moment, but then carries on with what she's doing until she's done. And a bright, like almost blinding light appears sort of in the center of the room, sort of lighting all the corners of the room. She's cast daylight.
Oh.
Which I believe does absolutely nothing to you. So...
Every time I ever see invisibility, we're the danger ones.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, also detect magic, all sorts of other things. But, nope. This sort of big ball of light, and she walks out the door, shuts it behind her. Nothing in there, ma'am. And you hear the procession move past. As you check your watch, you're 30 minutes down, and you're not even halfway round the building. So we'll leave you there, because obviously we like to make you sweat. And we will return back with July. July, after serving this champagne, you go back into the kitchen. And you're quickly told that the music isn't available. There we go. You're quickly told in the kitchen that they no longer need anybody running drinks. It's under service, and this sort of not orc lady, sorry, the original large human lady sort of comes over, and she turns to you, and you, and you. And she points to you and 2 other goblin servants. You'll be coming with Bessie, come on! And she gestures for you to move with her. She grabs a huge pile of bedding and sort of dunks it on you. And yeah, I mean, you're almost blinded. It's right up here, but you're able to sort of peek around the side and sort of move on up. And one of the young girls next to you just sort of says in Goblin quite quietly, do you speak Goblin?
I do.
Great, I thought you did. Sorry, I was just double checking before I carry on with that sentence.
Yeah, Rufus taught me.
She always picks the small ones to carry the heavy stuff. Typical, isn't it? Racist, I think. And with that, she's sort of... Because, I mean, obviously, right, she's a human, but she's working for a goblin household, right? So she takes it out on the little goblin staff. And with that, she leads you back through the kitchen, down a service corridor, and up a spiral staircase. It's very tight. As you look to the left, you see that there's two girls scrubbing the floor, trying to clear up a barrel of ale. And she begins to lead you up the stairs. Pretty quickly, she sort of drags you on down the corridor, and she begins opening doors and shouting instructions. Sort of, you there, turn that, bring that over here. Lady Grenworthy's going to want this. Make sure you've laid out the dress over there, and then she leads to the next one, and put a chocolate under the pillow. They like that. And so slams that door and moves on. And sort of as you're making your way through this corridor, it's dark, it's cramped, it's difficult to maneuver. You've got this massive bundle of bedding. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to tell me how you feel July is coping, and B, whether you think that she's sort of, with the load, is she sort of trying to tough it out, or is she trying to do something clever to sort of maneuver around?
Oh, no. So, first of all, she's panicked because the original plan that she had in mind was that she was going to try to get upstairs as soon as possible. So now she thinks Rufus is totally alone and she's freaking out. It's been too long. She has no idea where Rufus is. Very worried. But she is going to just kind of play up the heavy load and just like struggle under it. She's not going to try to, she's just going to make herself look as pathetic as possible.
Oh, great. I love that. Okay, yeah, so after a couple of moments, she opens a door, and she goes, you there, change the bed sheets, and she points to you. Change the bed sheets, leave a chocolate under the pillow. You did bring the chocolates up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She made no gesture that you would know. Are you attempting to lie to her? Because you definitely did
Yes,
not.
absolutely.
Right,
yeah,
okay, cool. Go ahead and give me a deception check.
No chocolate.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure whether you thought you had, or... Yeah,
no. Deception, that's going to be a 15.
She really doesn't care enough to try and insight any further than sort of just yes, no. Oh, very good. Chocolate under the pillow. Empty the chamber pot out. Make sure the room's nice and fresh. Give it a clean down. Cleaning supplies are in, and then she sort of points back down the corridor. Third door on the left round there, and then once you're done with that, head back down to the kitchen for orders, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then she bustles onwards. July, at this moment, as you come out, I'm now going to put you on the map. You are in a bedroom just here. So bear in mind you're on the... Sorry, other side. You're on the floor above, so you're not actually in an alcove or a bathroom. You're in the floor above in a chamber. And with a door that leads out to the main passageway. And you notice that at the back of the room, so if you imagine, like, you've just come out of one service corridor, and there's a little sort of behind the arm... Next to the armoire, there's this sort of little open, ajar door that... When closed, it would look like it wasn't there, but because it's ajar, you notice there's another service corridor going that way, which would head up to the north. And over to you. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm going to dump the bedding. I'm not going to change the bed. I'm going to grab the chamber pot, and I'm going to head towards the bedroom where I know the ring is, just like based on the map we had.
Great. And are you just straight down the service corridor?
Yes, and my plan is if anybody stops me, I'm just going to be like, oh, really? One of the ladies had a stomach problem. I got to empty this.
Okay, great. I love that. So, you start down the corridor. As you get sort of here, you will notice the significance of this. He's actually in there. You hear a door opposite open, and you hear Bessie shouting. Are you just going to attempt to go straight past her?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be seen by her, so I'm going to keep going.
Yep, okay, great. So as you move past in here, Rufus, you've had a moment as the door has opened and a huge woman has walked in with a goblin servant through a door that you didn't even know was there, into the room that you're in, and she's opened the door of that room to the main corridor. She's opened the door to the main corridor to sort of let the air go through, open the windows, and she's starting to make the bed and stuff. This is your moment to sort of sneak back out into the corridor.
Oh yeah, I go.
Okay, so as you move back into the corridor, the two of you unknowingly are sort of moving almost side by side down the corridor. And then suddenly, July, you come to a dead end. There is what looks like a sort of trap door above your head. But there was a door sort of a few feet back to the left. So
Yeah, I'll go check it out.
okay,
I'll go check
yeah.
it out.
So as you pull back and open this door, Rufus, as you're looking down the corridor, there's two women who are engaged in deep conversation. Goblins, both quite well dressed, having a conversation, who are walking down the corridor towards you from this direction. Okay, and you see a door sort of open right in front of them. And there's a woman swerves round and, for goodness sake, bloody servants coming out of everywhere. Oh. And she looks down at you and, do you know where the, she sort of looks at you, and I've forgotten the name, so she's not hesitating, it's me. She looks at you, do you know where the Brovalia rooms are?
Yes, I think they're around the corner and all the way at the end.
She looks at you and she's like, well, you think wrong. I am Lady Brovalia. I want you to go to my room.
Oh.
So I'll instruct you, as you clearly don't know your way around your own household. Well, it's been a sign of the terrible service we've had all day. And she sort of gestures down the hallway and, second right, down there in my room, you will find my necklace. I have forgotten it. I want to take it down for my daughter. It is like this. It is silver. It has rubies. I'll know if you stole it. And with that, she sort of makes a gesture and puts her hand out on your shoulder and mutters an incantation. If you wish, you can give me an Arcana check to try and understand it, but it is arcane magic, not divine.
Yeah, I want to try.
Okay. Go ahead, give me an Arcana check.
7.
A 7? You have recognized this as something very slightly akin to a Glyph of Warding as a cleric spell, but it's some arcane variant. You're not really sure what it does. What you do notice is that there's a small blue sort of symbol on your shoulder when she removes her hand.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I do have to, I gesture to the chamber pot.
You find me in the ballroom. It doesn't matter if it takes an hour.
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
get yourself down there or give the job to somebody else. But if I find the necklace missing, 'tis you that I will obliterate.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And with that, she sort of sweeps on past you. Rufus, you've witnessed this whole scenario. And
yeah,
as they walk off, it does leave the corridor slightly empty.
I will kind of sidestep them, and I will kind of, tug on Julai's sleeve, and just kind of whisper, "Are you all right, darling?"
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not in this game, but
Who is that?
but the point remains. There was a sort of gosh darn it sort of moment here.
No, but listen, you're running out of time. We gotta get that ring.
Right. This blue light. Are you all right?
Listen, don't worry about that. Come on, we gotta go. I'm gonna start pulling him. So those ladies came from the dead end?
No, they came from the main corridor. You stepped out into this main corridor.
Okay. I'm gonna start pulling him towards the room with the ring. We'll deal with this necklace business later.
So you guys are gonna have to go all the way down here, and all the way down here, and into there. Okay.
Okay.
There are some servant entrances that cut off this corner. But whether you can work out which door is up to you guys. Like, that's going to be quite complicated. So are you going to attempt to go main route?
Yeah, unless Rufus stops me, I'm following the map in my head, so I'm just trying to go as quickly as I can.
Okay.
Yes.
As the two of you get cancelled by my line, as the two of you maneuver on down, sort of Rufus invisible, July very visible with a chamber pot in her hand. A woman sort of opens the chamber door and walks out with a gentleman next to her. They look well armed and well armored, and you immediately get the idea that they're guards. And they sort of turn to you and stop.
Yes.
Your name and your identification.
hoping that Rufus continues moving while I kind of make myself very large, like, you know, just like make a lot of movement with my arms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Hazel. I'm one of the chambermaids. I was told to go around to all the rooms and make sure these are empty.
Give me a persuasion check, because you didn't. I mean, you did lie, but you also didn't lie.
Yeah.
And right now you are kind of Hazel, right? Hazel's the goblin.
Yeah, sure. Hazel's the goblin.
Persuasion an advantage, right?
Even with the advantage, it's only a 10.
He looks at you and up against the wall.
Oh.
And he starts to sort of start lifting your pockets and searching through them with no regard to your privacy at all.
Hey, I'm a lady.
Watch me care. And then he sort of shoves you up against the wall, and then he begins and the other guy is running some sort of device over you. They're looking for something. But after a short moment, sort of as long as you just stay tense and don't do anything, which I'm assuming is what
yeah, but I'm muttering the whole time about decency.
Oh, of course, and he doesn't care. He ignores you completely, and he sort of nonchalantly, sort of after he's found nothing, moves the device over to the right, and it starts to beep.
Shit.
As he's waving it in the exact direction of the corridor where Rufus would be.
Shit.
And he sort of pushes you to the side and... We've got somebody hiding! And with that, they both turn and they start charging down the corridor, waving it round.
Is it dangerous? I'm gonna try to catch
Silence,
up with
servant!
them. I'm gonna try to catch up with them, even though they're yelling. I'm just like, wait a minute, do I need to be safe with you? Is it dangerous? Is there somebody angry around here?
We'll come back to that
I'm
moment.
like tugging on their clothes.
We'll come back to that moment.
Okay.
As the group of you are downstairs. And, oh, nope. There we go. And the music's sort of going on pretty loudly. There's dancing begun. There's food coming out. You're all moving around entertaining. Cinder has been stuck with this guy making dragons for like all of this time. And then he sort of looks at you and, my friend, you've been amazing. But right now, I gotta get me a drink. Keep the show up. And he just leaves
I'll
you.
do my best. And Cinder, as soon as he leaves,
Give me an
Cinder
insight check.
basically,
Yes.
but he like immediately drops everything, and he's just like his hands are visibly hurting. He's never had to create this much flame for this long of a time.
Yep.
Like he uses his flames to like temper his like runes and stuff like that. But even then, it's still like, oh my god.
That's hard work.
8.
Yeah, you look around wondering if you might get away with stopping, and you haven't got a fucking clue. You kind of think, maybe somebody will notice, maybe somebody won't. We'll find out. But as you look across the room, you can see sort of floating somewhere in the middle, accosted by about 12 different nobles, is Nonnery. Okay. Nonnery! Royal and Asta made their way over to the left. You were making your way to Asta when suddenly a guy sort of stepped out, a Kalishtar, very, very beautiful man, sort of stepped out and put his hand, I would say on your shoulder, but you've got like 12 of them. So he's sort of on your curve and says to you, Sir, I'll be needing you for entertainment, your entertainment, right?
Sorry, I was muted. I'll speak into his mind. Yes, I'm entertainment.
I hold you there. As you go to open mind contact, you feel like a visible force at you. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
This is why we tell you not to do this.
That's how I talk. Okay. Time for slow rolling.
You're vulnerable to psychic damage, right? Oh shit!
Yes.
Right, okay.
Guys.
Give me your intelligence
I
save.
got a 20.
Okay, so you did succeed. So you would take 6 psychic damage. However, it will be 12. As he sort of rebuffs you and shoves you away mentally. Get out of my mind! I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on your invisibility.
Oh,
It's only a 10
fuck.
up.
Oh,
Fucker, James, you did this on purpose.
Okay, we're fine.
It literally says on my notes, he'll probably speak telepathically, underlined. How did your con save go? Again?
I rolled 17.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, right. So he maintains concentration on the invisibility. That's cool, isn't it? And the Kalishtar looks at you and sort of, don't try and speak into my mind. Have you no idea who I am? He sort of looks at you and, well, I don't need you to speak. I am Lord Maybrook. And you will be coming with me. We have somebody in the house. And I have had something stolen. And with that,
What did you do?
he sort of grabs you, and he begins to gesture for you to move with him. And guys, you all see Nonnery just being... He was surrounded by nobles who all look like they were Kalishtar. And he's being escorted out of the courtroom? Courtroom? Out of the ballroom and up to the chambers.
I think
Not
I'm-
really do anything, just let them get it.
I will speak to everyone that I am being escorted somewhere to help find something, I guess.
As you do
As I
that,
like
he'll
to
sort
do.
of elbow you, and you can stop with that. I know it's difficult for you to restrain your telepathic abilities, but it's why you have been taken. So, it would behoove you to do less of it for now.
So I know I got like sent/taken to a different room. Can I still see?
So you were in a
like,
different room.
Aster
You were in a
and-
big ballroom.
Okay, I just
You
got
were
sent
just
to a different
over the
area.
other side. You can see
Okay.
Astra and Royal sort of over the other side, coming away from some ladies that they were recently dealing with, and you guys sort of meet in the middle of the ballroom.
Well, like still, because he's still in his sort of like breathing after this whole performance thing, right? He hasn't like left, mostly because he doesn't feel like he should, or if he's basically allowed to leave. But he'll like try to make eye contact with Royal and sort of like gesture for like go after him. Do we stay? Like,
Royal's gonna try and intercept them.
Intercept the Kalishtar's.
Yes.
Okay. How are you doing that?
They're just gonna like respectfully approach it, like kind of step in that. That's one of my crew. We're supposed to go on again in a bit.
He sort of looks out towards you, and then you can come as well. And two guards, two Kalishtar, so that they don't grab you, but they like stand right next to you from either side, sort of guiding you into the corridors.
Royal will just go along.
Okay, Aster and Cinder, you meet in the middle, seeing Royal being taken with Nonnery now. What are you doing?
Cinder has a visible like fuck like face, like literally like and if Aster is either like close to me or next to me, he's literally just gonna turn and be like, neither of us know what to do in this situation.
As Asta sees them walk off, he's like not gonna turn to Cinder, but he's just gonna like address him without looking at him. He'll be like, "Oh, they're going upstairs? That's nice. I wonder what kind of performance is upstairs. Probably not the ones we're allowed to do, right? Anyway, yes." And like he like answers no one who's called his name and walks off.
Cinder's literally just gonna be like, oh my god. And he...
I don't think Cinder would be particularly less oblivious than Aster is.
Well, no. Like, it's not like a situation of, like, Cinder's like, oh, like this is what I'm left with, right? It's more of just, like, it's in his mind, he's just like, I'm stuck here. and there's no way out for me, and the only ones who could get me out are currently being taken away.
Moments.
And so he'll go back to try to attempt the same display he was putting on before.
Well, it's not long before you're joined, and the tiefling sort of pats you on the shoulder and, hey, I brought you a brandy. And he hands you a glass of brandy, and we can take a moment before we get back on with the second half of our performance. We are the most fine entertainers here, no? Flame and fire, right? You look a little tired, a little peaky. Here. And then he sort of gestures with a sort of... It looks like a smoking device of some sort. And he offers it to you.
Upon getting handed a brandy, Cinder would sort of like say like, he's alcohol and other substances don't agree with me as
he sort of pats you on the shoulder. They do now, and sort of pushes it into your hand.
I am going to attempt to like forcibly be like, this is like this is basically
very well.
Cinder.
If that's
I was gonna
the
say
way you
Cinder's
are.
like taking a stance and being like, I'm not doing this.
They do
like,
tell the kids say no to drugs. And then he reaches round, grabs a noble who looks about 15 years old, and he's like, this kid'll say yes to drugs. And he hands him both a brandy and a smoke and goes, go have some fun with your friends. And then he sort of turns back to you and, are you ready for some fire and flame?
He'll sort of just like he'll sort of try to like sort of hide like a little bit of, again, like that teenager size, like and then he'll sort of start like
With a 26 insight, he's quite aware that you're not in the mood, and he's like, don't worry, old Mafoso's got you. And he leads you up towards the stage, like not to go onto the stage, but to stand like near in front of it, where you can be a bit more the center of attention. And he's like, you be the fire, I'll be the flame. And as soon as you produce fire, this magnificent fireworks display of flame in various different colors starts happening, as he is using both pyrotechnics and control flame to sort of make different things happen in the sky. You know, he's clearly got a lot of control going on. And at one point, Cinder, you actually feel the flames that are on your body sort of join the display briefly and come back, and you begin to look like you're the center of attention as the flames around you start taking on different colors. And slowly, Mafoso is moving away a little bit into the shadows, making you look like the center of attention and the main entertainment. And we'll leave you there.
Fuck.
Asta, you will notice this from across the hallway. Where's Asta gone?
Nowhere in particular.
No?
Yeah, no, not really. He just didn't want to stand there, like listening to Cinder panic, so he just not so politely excused himself from the situation. Right. So he's probably just gone to like to try his best to blend in as much as he can.
Great. As you're doing that, give me a performance check to see how well you blend in. You can add your wisdom modifier instead of your charisma one if you wish, as you're sort of trying to notice what everybody else is doing, and then sort of using that insight to be a member.
22?
22, nice. Yeah, you're looking like you sort of belong here. There's a little bit of entertainment going, but even you start to blend to like one of the guests. And eventually a sort of Yuan-Ti sort of comes up to you, and he taps you on the shoulder and he leans into you and he goes, Diamond Salt.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm not on that substance anymore. But take it.
Diamond Salt.
Oh, no, thank you. I don't need any seasoning on my food. I'm fine, thanks.
He sort of looks back, and you can give me an insight check if you wish to see what he's doing. But he's muttering very, very quietly and looking across the room.
That's a nat 20 for a 27?
You've seen someone cast message before. He's casting message. And after a while, he looks at you and he sort of turns you to face him like directly, and he says, Diamond Salt, the password. No?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm not just gonna say it, out loud in front of a lot of people. It's a password for a password.
It's cryptic, you idiot. And with that, he's like, well, come on then. We've got business.
Yes, let's go.
And he leads you to
Salt. And he'll wink.
And he leads you over to a table where there are sort of 7 or 8 Yuan-Ti standing around, and there is a female drow. And she looks at you. And she looks back to the group and says something. Do you speak Abyssal?
No.
Okay. She says something long and complicated, and she sounds a little frustrated. And then after a while, the Yuan-Ti turns to you and... What's your name?
My name is... Alu.
Oh, we are fucked.
Excuse me. The Yuan-Ti looks at you and... Not him. Why are you playing along, idiot? Do you... He sort of looks at you and then he just sort of pushes you away, like down 3 stairs, and then they close a circle around the table.
I'm just gonna walk away muttering, oh man, there goes my chance of being in a secret cult. Well, probably secret for a reason. Maybe there's another cult.
As you're saying this, a drow comes towards you, male drow, who looks very like you. And he's wearing a cloak covered in tiny little stars. He sort of does a double take when he sees you.
I'm gonna lean in, I'm gonna say, if you want the salt, that way.
He sort of shakes his head as if like, what the fuck are you on? And he starts to immediately sort of look up over in a completely different direction and starts sipping his wine, trying to pretend that you don't exist.
That's fine. I'm just gonna continue looking for another cult to join.
Great. And that is where we'll take a short break. So, we pick up with July following 2 guards who are waving a device around that appears to detect things and sort of dashing down the corridor. July, you were pretending to be worried or scared.
Yes. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, just hanging on to their clothes and trying to... Hey, excuse me, did you say there's someone loose in here? Is it a dangerous person?
He swings his truncheon at you to get you off.
Okay.
I don't know if your armor class changes as a goblin, but I somehow don't think a 25 is going to miss you. So I rolled a natural 19, to be fair. You will take 6 bludgeoning damage as you are knocked backwards. And down, servant girl, we've got problems. There are dangerous beings here. And sort of waving the device, Rufus, as you see these guys, 2 guys coming down the corridor towards you, what are you doing?
Just pretty much just, booking at the other end.
Okay.
Unless you won't allow this, if as soon as he hits me with the thing and I see them like taking off after Rufus, I'm gonna toll the dead.
Oh.
I'm trying to get Rufus out of here.
Yeah, we're going to take a moment on that one. I don't think July would if she saw what was about to happen, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to sort of give you a little bit of foresight. As Rufus runs down the corridor, suddenly the guards slam a door open to the right, reach in and grab someone and yank them out. Found you! And he's holding a mind flayer.
Oh.
I'm gonna scream.
The Mind Flayer sort of... Well, Mind Flayers are a race in this game. Yeah, they're not evil.
Yeah.
So it's worth mentioning.
Distraction. No distraction.
Yeah, you scream. The Mind Flayer becomes sort of incorporeal and starts to walk through the floor. And we come downstairs to where Royal and Nonnery are being led out by the Kalishtar, who sort of go into the corridor, and you see another Mind Flayer stood opposite, with his hands sort of bound, and one other Flumph and Kalishtar. And all of them are sort of backs against the wall, and you 2 are pushed up against the wall next to them. And you'll wait there! Now. Stay still. And you see one of the Kalishtar is sort of focusing really hard. Give me a perception check, Nonori.
Okie dokie. Okay, what's it gonna be? Oh boy.
Okay.
13.
Yeah, so long before anybody else, you immediately notice that something is moving towards you psionically. It's traveling and it's letting out a sort of telepathic disturbance around it. In your experience, you've known like high-level psionics as capable of sort of moving through the space, through the ethereal plane, right? And indeed, you feel like a disturbance on the ethereal plane near you, as a mind flare sort of manifests through the ceiling, coming down into the floor below you. At which point, 6 Kalishtar immediately lash out with their hands, and psychic sort of purple tethers go around this mind flayer and lock it in place. Immediately, one of the Kalishtar turns to you all, Royal and Nonori, and just sort of goes, "So you're not the thieves, but are you accomplices?" And he'll put 2 fingers to your head, and I'll ask both of you to make a wisdom save, if you wish. He's going to cast Detect Thoughts, and he's going to ask you some questions.
It's the Pokemon.
No. Royals is gonna submit.
Nonori, are you going to attempt to resist?
Thoughts. Nah.
Okay, cool. So the first question he asks you is, are you a guest here?
No.
I need
I
both
am
of you
an
to answer.
entertainer.
Entertainer. And you were invited as an entertainer?
Someone
I'm supposed
paid
to
us
come
to
as an
come, yes?
entertainer.
Sorry, just Nonori. What did you say?
I'm supposed to come here as an entertainer.
And he sort of looks to Royal, and you're an entertainer?
Yes. I lead the crew. Someone paid us to come here, as per usual.
Okay. He starts sifting through your thoughts quite forcibly. I do need that wisdom. Oh no, you're both letting them in, right? So he starts sifting through your
Is this
thoughts,
like-
and after a moment he turns back to them, and they're slippery. They're not what they say they are, but they're nothing to do with this. And the Mind Flayer... Sorry, I really wanted that bit of cucumber. The Mind Flayer is pushed up against the wall, and you see, like, his jacket is forcibly pulled open, and they take from him a black obsidian necklace with red sort of veins all over it that is clearly very magical. The Kalishtar sort of moves up, and in his hand forms a dagger that looks sort of made of psychic energy, and he plunges it straight into the throat of the Mind Flayer, leaving him to die on the ground. The guard lets Royal and Nonori go.
Maybe we turn
know
to
that.
entertain.
Where are we at this point? Like, where did they get led back?
Oh, so just outside of the main chambers, sort of into a corridor between the two. So I'll put Nonori sort of there. Yeah, so there's like various ballrooms. The main ballroom is to your left here, which is the sort of open room here. And then there's a sort of another little sort of open room where people are playing cards and stuff out to the right. And you're just in a little corridor between the two.
Okay, Royal's gonna take Nonri, and we'll like walk probably around the corner of the like hallway to like be by the public stairs.
Yep.
Doesn't want to stick around for whatever else is gonna go on with the fucking Kalistars and Mind Flayers, but doesn't just want to go back in. When we get a little bit of distance, they'll lean over to Nonri, make the same wiggly eyebrows as before.
Nonori, go ahead and give me an insight check with your intelligence.
Insight check with intelligence?
Yeah, so
Okay.
just an intelligence check with your proficiency if you're proficient.
Okay, yeah, I'm proficient. Intelligence check, here I come. That's a plus 6.
Love the anticipation.
Can't tell if I clicked the right thing or not. There it is. Okay, I think I did know.
What did you get?
Okay, well, That would add my
Not with
proficiency, so it'd be like. It'd add my proficiency, so that'd be like 12.
12. Okay, cool. Yeah, you get the impression that maybe psionic speech is detectable by these people. It may even be safer just to speak out loud.
Okay. Strange. There appears to be goings on at the same time. I'm very surprised.
Have you had any contacts with Rufus recently?
How could I contact him? I did not see him.
You have to see to do it?
Not if you've got message, but if you...
Okay,
yeah.
then Royal's gonna tug, since Honorary talking out loud is weird, gonna tug like farther down the hall away from this kerfuffle. Just like strides purposely, like kind of towards the edge over here.
Okay.
Tuck into a corner there.
Mm-hmm.
Royal will pull out the crystal for the focus while facing the wall, and we'll try to guesstimate, hopefully, where Rufus is up on roughly on the upper floors, and we'll send Rufus a message.
Rufus is 210 foot away at that point.
Okay, that's too far away.
Do you want to try anyone else?
We'll take a stab at July.
Yeah. Cool. As you point up, you do hit July. July, you've seen there's Mind Flayer's been sort of run away psionically, Rufus is off down a hill, there's two guards looking at you as you're screaming, and then suddenly, really conveniently, Royal speaks into your mind. Royal, go ahead.
Yeah. There's another heist going on. Have you seen Rufus?
Do I know that I can reply telepathically?
Uh-huh. Well, you know that you have to whisper to reply back. I think at this point, both Nonnery and Royal have displayed the complete extent of their communication ability before you guys went in. This music is no longer relevant, so I'll get back to that in a second. Carry on as you were.
And I can tell she's casting message right now. Is it a telepathic thing?
Current thing.
Sort of, yeah. It's a brain connection, but yeah.
I mean, I pretty obviously have the crystal out, and I have to do verbal and somatic components with it if I don't settle. So it's pretty obvious that I'm saying something. You just can't hear what it is.
Yeah, I reply back. Yes, we've been delayed, but almost there.
All right. Royal's gonna backtrack. Probably prestidigitation minor stuff, and just wants to keep an eye on the guards that came down.
Which guards?
Oh, the guards are still up there.
The guards are standing right next to July.
Okay. Are there any other, like, is it just the Kalistar doing this with the Mind Flayers, or are there more guards there?
The Kalistar killed the Mind Flayers and went back into the ballroom. The Mind Flayer is just laying dead upon the floor. A couple of servants have just arrived to start clearing it out.
Okay. We'll just head back into the ballroom then.
Okay.
Keep an eye on things.
Yeah, you head back into the ballroom.
Yes.
And Asta will see you both come in. And what you immediately all notice is that standing just in front of the stage, this is where I was looking for the music. Let's just change over. Sorry, need to find that. I had it, and then I didn't. Yeah, sort of a little bit of sort of lighter music, sort of older style music has started as you see, all of you, Cinder slowly drifting into the air in front of the stage, surrounded by coloured flames. There are nobles cheering, and flames are coming out of him in like dragons and coloured fireworks and all sorts going on.
I think, just sort of as I started to feel like going up, I think I would put my goggles down just to hide the fact that his eyes are doing the thing where you're like freaking out and looking around everywhere.
Great.
And his goggles are like blocking that, but he's trying his best to sort of play it off as like it's like he's getting really deep into his magic or whatever. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, you see him ascending up, and what are we doing? Asta, Royal, and Nonnery, as you all sort of see each other in the ballroom.
The goblin that seems to be kind of like playing MC and stuff before, like who pulled Royal in to sing Happy Birthday? Is he visible anywhere?
He's definitely, which you would know quite easily. He's not an MC. He was the son. He's one of the sons of the Lord. He's probably not the person to go up and ask a question.
Okay. Does anyone seem to be coordinating entertainment and stuff here?
Yes, so if you remember, there was the hobgoblin who whacked you with a stick.
Hobgoblins?
Who whacked Asta with a stick, actually. But yeah, you've all met him, and he sort of pointed you out to different places. In fact, he was the one who grabbed you and said, "Could you sing?" And yes, he's standing sort of the other end of the stage, looking up, and, like, you can see on his face, there's, like, half of him going, "For fuck's sake, I didn't organize any of this," and the other half going, "People seem to be loving this." So he's kind of like, he's in two minds.
He's conflicted.
Yeah.
Royal's gonna sidle up to him and whisper, "Have you managed to find Eliza yet?"
Who are you? Oh, you're the singer. Sorry. Yes, she was found.
That's good.
Is it?
As lovely as the display is, it might be a bit provocative as we go into the evening. A little bit too much fire.
Do you presume to tell me how to run a party?
No. I was just offering, if Eliza's voice is a little bit tired, or
I would
at
imagine
any point
she's
wants to-
struggling to sing a little bit, seeing as her throat was slit.
In that case, would you like me to do a set?
He looks at all the nobles, like, staring up, going, "Fire and flame! Fire and flame!" And he looks at you and like, "No."
If anything goes amiss, just let me know.
And then he sort of looks back at you and, "The fire genasi told me he couldn't breathe fire." Seems he was lying. And sort of, at this point, flames are, like, gouting out of his throat, and at this point, all you've done is cast Produce Flame. Other than that, like, everything's being done for you by Mafoso.
I'm just the fire source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asta.
Royal's gonna tuck out of the way and watch to make Cinder doesn't go fucking unconscious casting Produce Flame 70 bajillion times.
Asta, what are you doing?
So seeing Cinder up there, I am going to juggle a few dancing lights and then throw them up, and they're gonna sit around Cinder's head like a crown of stars.
Great. Nonary, are you integrating yourself into the entertainment, or are you just at this moment taking a sort of backseat and watching?
I will do casual entertainment and try to help as well with Cinder's little thing as I cast Preservation to kind of just make like confetti pop out near him.
Cool.
Catches on fire.
After a little while, sort of 5-6 minutes, the Lady Grenworthy comes up to you, Royal, and says, "I thought you were a servant."
No, I just don't mind helping out.
Well,
All in the
I want to
good part of
hire you.
entertainment. For?
We have a ball next Friday. I want him and you. You're part of his group. I know that. I saw you arrive together. And the drow and the flumph. I want the four of you. I want you performing at my ball. I'll pay you 1,000 gold pieces. Each.
Each. That
Each.
should be doable.
This 7th
So we
day,
arrange that?
8 p.m. I'll send some... Where can I send somebody to meet you, or do you want to...
It would be better if we could arrive.
She
when
sort of
near the
gestures
city.
towards a gentleman. "Make arrangements with my man." And she sort of points over towards a gentleman who comes over. And he's also human, and he looks at you, and... a mutual meeting point, perhaps? Or would you like to come to visit the estates?
Seeing the estates would be great. That would help with planning.
Tomorrow
for the
morning,
party.
9 a.m.
Sure. Perfect.
Very well. Use the main entrance. Just say you were the entertainers from last night. Well, no. Excellent. My name's Mycon. Okay. And with that, he sort of nods to you, and we resume with Rufus. Rufus, as you're hurtling down the corridor, you suddenly look back and see there are no guards. Or rather, there are guards, but they had a mind flare and they didn't have a mind flare, and now they are moving towards July. Are you just going to continue in your pursuit of the ring and wish her best of luck? Right. He can see your camera, but he can't see you in real life, in the game.
July's just nodding her head on the ground.
No, July has currently just stopped screaming and started whispering under her breath really weirdly because she's responding to Royal's message. What are you doing, Rufus? What's the plan? I won't consider it metagaming if you do also feel that you would continue in your game, in your goal.
I will take out the hourglass, the timepiece. How much time do I have left?
18 minutes.
I would book it towards the room then.
Okay, as Rufus continues onwards, you get round to about here, and you hear this sort of yelling. As the guards were going to grab you, July. But a large human barrels out of a chamber and sort of, there you are! I thought I had you changing the beds. Did you get lost?
I'm sorry. Ma'am, these men, they had us, they were capturing someone and it was very scary. I'm sorry.
I know, everything's been difficult in the capture. No, come here, darling.
Okay.
And she gestures,
Yes,
and she
ma'am.
looks at the guards, and you see this moment where the guards, like, trying to work out who has the power here. Because one of them is, like, one of the heads of the servants, and the other one is just a standard guard, right? But servants, guards, paid, lesser paid. So they have this little standoff, and then you see the woman sort of put her hands on her hips and sort of look at him and what? Go on, say it. And he sort of shrivels backwards and we'll let you get on with your duties. And he sort of goes very quiet and he walks off down a different passageway. And she goes, come on, darling! How did you get lost down here? I know everything's going on around here. I'm assuming you were looking for the cleaning cupboard. Come on, I'll show you the way. And she begins to walk you towards the cleaning cupboard. At
this point, I'm gonna do whatever she tells me to do.
As she leads you into the servants' corridor, a gentleman sort of appears in front of her and sort of leans over to her and sort of, and she goes, a mind flayer! Like, really loudly, as he's being really subtle. And then she sort of goes,
Yes, I saw it!
Oh, you did?
Yes, it went through the floor, and I'll like pretend I'm gonna gossip. Like, it was really big, and it was
dead now.
How do you even kill one of those things?
We don't know. The Maybrooks are here, and they're causing trouble. We need to go downstairs and clean the body. Darling, find your way to the kitchens. I'll get somebody else who knows the area better.
Oh,
You can see she's looking like unduly stressed, really. Rufus.
Unduly. She's had a hard day. This is not how a party process.
No, parties are pretty difficult for them in general. Rufus, we come to you as you're rushing down the corridor. This place seems mostly abandoned. And you begin to see that you're coming to finer chambers. You finally get to the end of the corridor. You're able to ascertain that this is indeed the room. The door is closed. On the right.
As a kind of cartoon Flintstone stop, and you hear like the brakes squeaking, just kind of look around, and if everything seems to be okay, then I will.
What do you mean by if everything seems okay?
I guess
what that means to me. You mean if the corridor's empty, or
what does it mean to you?
I know, right?
Just like the guards aren't there. There doesn't seem to be too much hubbub or any hubbub in the corridor at all.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh. 21.
Yeah, the coast is clear in both directions. You do hear the faint sound of like a woman and a man arguing somewhere, but it seems to be quite a long way down the corridor. And you also hear the sound of somebody like hammering into the wall. But again, that seems quite a long way the other way. It sounds like work's being done or something.
I will, knowing from my time as a detective, I will inspect the door and the lock and everything for traps to make, or whether it's locked.
Give me an investigation check.
19.
Okay, so you run your hands sort of expertly up and down the door. There is no sense of any lock, no mechanical trap whatsoever. But then you sort of hesitate for a moment, and you think, if there is something here, maybe it's not physical. As it seems too easy, right? In your experience, there should be at least a lock on the door. But you also know at this point that you now have 9 minutes of invisibility.
Shit. Casting a spell will drop invisibility, right?
It will indeed.
So the door itself isn't locked at all.
No, not at all.
Fuck. I will... I'm going to drop invisibility, and I will step back a little bit, and I will cast Mage Hand and have my Mage Hand open the door.
Okay. You open the door and you hear an audible sort of clicking noise. As the door opens out wide, you see a Kalishtar sat with his sort of up on the table on the other side of the room, arms sort of folded, and he looks over at you. And, well, come on in then. Don't hesitate. July, at this point, you hear a sort of wow, wow, wow noise going on in all the servants' quarters. Each of our party members in the main room, you notice that various different servants appear to be rushing out the doors.
As soon as they do that, like, they start to, like, move towards the door.
Just servants. Yeah.
Just servants. That's fine. Royal is going to step forward. Well, I mean, they've sung enough in the back, so they'll pick something that goes with the performance that's going on. Something about, like, fire and flame and something like that. And they will start to sing, and they will spend 1 sorcery point in their 2nd level spell to subtle cast Enthrall. Every creature that's not a party member within 60 feet of Royal when they start speaking for the next minute has disadvantage to notice anything but Royal for the next minute.
So
they have to pass a wisdom save. So anyone who was strong enough to potentially pass the wisdom save, they should make that. But
they're not
otherwise...
even trying. They're just sort of watching the performance. Every noble in sight. Some of the servants are captured. But most importantly, Asta, you see most of the guards are looking to Royal. One guard, one hobgoblin, who's wearing a very strange, ornate sort of crown, almost, helmet. Which looks down over his mind. A little Magneto-esque, right? And he sort of moves over with his staff, and he goes to a servant, and he starts speaking rapidly. And then he bursts out the door and starts to run.
As soon as I heard the siren, I turn around and just start booking it to the room where I know he was headed.
Fantastic. Yeah. Go on, Asta.
Seeing the guard do this, I'm gonna chase after him.
Okay. You sprint out the door. Cinder and Nonnery, you both notice this?
Am I still in the air at this point?
You are in the air, and at the moment you have the attention of absolutely everyone with Royal.
If I can sort of notice that, like, the servants are starting running in, like, one direction and stuff like that, I think he's sort of going to try to make the performance, like, he's just like, oh, distraction, right, that was the thing we're supposed to do. And he'll sort of, like, while he's summoning the flames, close his hand and then summon the fiery chains and just have it start, like, melding with the entire performance. to go with it. And he's
Love it.
trying to he's basically trying to make it even more grander than with what little he can actually do.
Nonnery, you notice that Astra's gone out. Royal and Cinder have the attention of everyone in the room, apart from one guard who sprinted out. He looked like the captain of the guard.
Sheesh. I am gonna simply observe and try to understand, at least somewhat, what this could potentially mean as I stand idly by, trying to stay more on the sidelines.
Give me a perception check. Just a straight perception check to see if you can hear the noise over what's going on stage, as your mind is not distracted.
I'm gonna get a number soon enough. Look at that, 6.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can't hear the noise, but you get like Asta's chasing after the guard. Maybe he's got it handled. Other than that, you think that there's been a disturbance somewhere. You also feel that your invisibility has dropped, though it doesn't feel like it was taken away. It feels like it was dropped by Rufus.
Willingly dropped.
Okay. I would, Cinder is...
So basically you've got 3 choices. You can do nothing, you can try and help Cinder and Royal get as much attention as possible, or you can follow Asta down the corridor.
Shit.
I will say, with the spell running, Royal seems to have a good handle on keeping everyone's attention for the moment.
Yeah, you've got everyone's attention, but, you know, I'm not sure Nonnery with his perception of 6 really garnered that. He just notices that most people seem to be looking at you, or at Cinder.
I will go with Aster.
Okay, so Nonnery, as you go out, you see Asta chasing down the corridor. Asta, you see a guard sort of sprinting away, and he's shouting, but he's shouting at his own arm. Like, he's got his arm up like this, and he's sort of... into it. He's shouting in Goblin. I don't know if you speak Goblin. All of your other characters do.
That
so I
every
assume- yeah,
single
okay.
character I make speaks Goblin.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So he's shouting, 7 to the main chamber, 7 to the main chamber.
As Asta's chasing, he's just like, excuse me, sir. Wait.
He ignores you completely.
Just keep shouting and keep running.
And you're just going to chase him. If you were to catch up with him, or
Yeah.
you sort of get within 15 foot of him, are you trying to do anything to him, or are you just going to shout?
No, yeah, I'm trying to get him to stop.
Okay, right, he won't stop. Unless you, like, actually trip him up or something.
No.
No, okay,
I
cool.
don't-
I didn't think so. Right, fantastic. Rufus, you enter the room, and the Kalashtar looks at you, or you're standing outside the room, and the Kalashtar looks at you, and, well, do come in, then.
I'll walk right in.
He sort of looks at you, and I don't think we're here for the same purpose.
Well, it depends on what purpose you have here, boy.
Are you familiar with the phrase, diamond salt?
Am I familiar with the phrase diamond salt?
Not in the slightest. Never heard it.
I mean, if you like your seasonings, you are free to enjoy them.
As I thought. It appears that, whatever you're here for, we seem to have made it a little bit more alert. Nevertheless, you seem to have set the alarm off, and I still have a job to do. Go ahead and get on with it, and I'll facilitate your exit through the window.
Well, aren't you charming? Can I see how forthright he's being with if he's actually going to help facilitate it?
Oh,
Or if
100%.
he's-
100%. You get the impression that you've really screwed up his plans, and he needs you out the damn way. Right now.
Then I will start scouring the room completely.
There's a
for that.
woman's dressing table with a jewelry
Yeah.
box on top of it, like a whole like jewelry section on top of it. Placed on top of the jewelry box in the very middle is a gold ring with an emerald in it that is quite obviously the engagement ring. If you pick it up, he sort of looks at you and, really? That's what you're here for? He just sort of shakes his head and he begins a sort of casting, and then he opens the window, and he sort of looks at you and, you should find a way of disabling magic yourself. And with that, he sort of puts his hand on you, casts Pass Without Trace, scale the outside of the wall. Good luck, thief.
You too. Dusty travels as well, and I'll say, can I grab like 2 or 3 more rings or something?
Sure. Yeah, if you grab a few other things, he sort of shrugs his shoulders and off you go. And then as soon as you're outside, he slams the window closed, turns round. July, you reach the room. He looks at you and, you can't be serious.
She's one of mine.
Totally dead.
He looks at you and, it would do best for you if you were somewhere else, anywhere else.
Nope, I'm going in because I think Rufus is in there invisible.
Okay, as you go in, he begins to cast.
Like I said, I told the dead as soon as he spoke.
Oh, okay, cool. A 22 wisdom save?
Yeah, that'll save.
Okay. Which means it does no damage, right? Because it's cantrip.
Yeah.
And he sort of, other than that, completely ignores you. And he looks at you and, on your head be it, and a blue door appears in front of him. He steps into it, and it vanishes.
Rufus!
Nothing.
Rufus, where are you? Fuck. She's gonna hide behind a, I don't know, wardrobe
Curtain?
or something.
Wardrobe? Yeah, curtain, wardrobe, any of the above.
Something, hide, quick.
Asta, as you're chasing this hobgoblin down the corridor, you see 4 hobgoblin guards and 2 orcs step out sort of in front of the guy you're chasing, and they begin to run sort of up the stairs, and eventually they stop at the end of a corridor outside a room. As you get there, 2 of the guards turn and, what are you doing?
As I kind of stops, like, and is Nonnery next to me?
Nonnery's sort of floating about 45, 50 foot back, trying to catch up with you.
Yeah, so I sort of just be like, turn it back and be like, could you just wait?
The guy sort of looks at you, looks over your shoulder, sort of shakes his head, and eventually, sort of as Nonnery moves up, I'm hoping Nonnery will be with us shortly. Nonnery gets there, and he looks back at you, and expectantly, sort of, okay?
So sorry to bother you. Could you paint our portrait? We really don't want to forget tonight. Is that something you do, or do you know where to point us in the right direction? Really takes you out of you. How big is this place?
He sort of looks at you for a moment. You can give me a performance check or a deception check, whichever you prefer. You're not really lying, but you're kind of lying, right? So it's up to you, performance or deception, to try and convince him that that is genuinely what you were looking for him for.
13.
Oh, I rolled like shit, but that's even worse. He sort of looks at you and, why were you chasing me? Why were you chasing him? Sorry, and he points towards the guard captain. No lies this time.
Okay.
There's been a break.
I promise.
I'm with him, right?
Yeah, you're with him now. You've just caught up.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I won't lie. I'll be honest with you. The reason why I was chasing you, those stairs. I thought you was Mephoso. I wanted an autograph. I heard he was performing here, and I thought maybe
He cuts you off and turns to the guard. Slap him in chains. You might as well take the flump. It looks like it's connected.
Hmm?
We'll get to the bottom of this. And with this, the sort of goblin, the hobgoblin opens the door, and he sort of begins to move things around. I'm really sorry, July. I'm not even going to let you attempt to hide somewhere. Eventually, he just moves the curtain or the wardrobe.
If somebody walks in, I'm immediately just going to start pretending to clean.
He looks at you and, nice try, but the lady's maid is not a goblin. With me.
Yes, sir.
And he slaps the three of you sort of in handcuffs and takes you down a service stairwell out the side and walks you out to the front of the building, where two city guards are coming towards
Hello, but I've already been questioned once. Am I have to go through the similar thing again?
You can tell your story to the city guards. We've had a break-in, and one of you has tripped the alarm. He points towards July.
But wait a minute. I can't. I didn't steal nothing. See, I got this thing on my shoulder that would be like, if I stole something.
He takes a look at it. You've got an arcane mark on you.
The lady put it on there.
Yeah, it's just so she can identify you in future. It's not going to prevent you from stealing anything.
Oh, she said if I stole something, she'd know.
Perhaps of hers. The lady is not in the house. And then he sort of looks at you and, I don't want to deal with this anymore. You're coming with me, you're going to the city guards. And he hands you towards two city guards. You see one city guard is sort of a lizard folk. He's got quite jagged teeth. He's got a helmet that's almost covering his eyes. And a hood sort of on top of his helmet and big armor. And the other one is the hugest sort of orc you've ever seen. He's absolutely massive. And he's carrying with him wait me a second. He's carrying with him a sort of really vicious looking sword, and he has this sort of half plate guard over his face, and they both wear guards' capes and cloaks, and they come to you and each one of you manacle Asta and July, and they come to Nonnery, and you see him he puts a device that then sort of wraps itself around the whole of you. And you hear this voice very subtly and sort of low voice to say, "You'll be coming with me to the city jail. Come on now." And he leads the three of you out and round the corner. Rufus, you dropped down from here, from the window, and you discovered that it was almost deserted out the front, as most of the guards seemed to be congressed? That's not the right word. Seem to be grouped, we'll go with that, up by the main doors, involved in some sort of discussion with something. Would you attempt to leave the premises and get back home with the ring?
Do I see the guards have, with them,
you're in the future right now. Or they're in the future. I don't know.
I will hop in my space car and go home.
Great, okay. But no, in general, you don't see anything behind you. You're out.
I will cast Disguise Self, and I will make myself look like a regular gnome, and I will just, in relatively nice clothes, and I will stroll on out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you stroll on out, absolutely fine, and you're able to make your way home.
I wouldn't. I would wait. I would try to find some sort. I guess I would have. Try to find some kind of shady corner where
I think we had a rendezvous location.
Perhaps the alley where you guys got ready, opposite.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
So, yeah,
so
that
way
I would. Yeah. I would wait there a little bit to see if I see any of my group come out.
Okay. After a little while, you do see July, Asta, and Nonnery led out by two guards. Though they're immediately, quite swiftly, walked down the road a little way.
How far away from me are they?
60, 70 feet?
I will pull out a small thread, and I will cast a message towards July, and I will just say, "What happened? Why are you all in chains?"
Is this a whisper thing or a mind
It's
thing?
the same. It's message. So you'd have to whisper quietly, but quietly enough that nobody's really gonna.
Very quietly. Get yourself home. I followed you into the room and you caught me. Go.
Are you sure? I can try to get you out.
Get out of here.
Take care of the others. And I will. With that, I will literally. With that confirmation, I will head straight back to our humble abode.
Okay. We will come to the ballroom, where a gentleman comes and puts his hand on Royal's shoulder about 3 or 4 minutes later, and says, "The great bard has arrived. It's time for his performance. You've been wonderful, but." And then he puts a small pouch in your hand, and it contains 100 gold pieces and a tip from the Lady Grenworthy. She said you were excellent tonight.
Roll nod. They'll like kind of just step back, giving their bows. As they do that, they're gonna try and find.
Sorry, it should be mentioned. Mephoso lets Cinder down at the same time, he steps out to join you for a bow.
As they're stepping away after like doing the full
He
bow,
also
and
pushes
like
Cinder back down.
Yeah, no, Cinder.
We're on either side of Cinder, like doing that.
As soon as Cinder lands, basically, it's like it's not really like you have to force me down for a bow. You have to keep me up for a bow, as I am basically completely exhausted from this, and I'm like, as much as I can, having to draw on what little like strength I have saved to sort of just stay up and do the bow, right? But then as soon as like, everyone starts like walking away and stuff like that, I like just collapse on the ground, basically.
We're all gonna keep like dragging you along, like giving you.
Mephoso sort of leans to you and, "Oh, calm now. It's not that bad. I was doing all the hard work."
If you're interested in a little more hard work, so to speak, I have a job for us next Friday.
I don't think so. I don't play with thieves. And with that, he sort of clicks his finger. A little bit of sort of flame goes over his face. And he is a fire genasi, and he walks out the room to the side, saying nothing.
I figured that.
As the two of you sort of look around, you quickly notice that it's just you two.
After that, Roy's gonna. This would be about the time Hans is probably wearing off, depending on maybe a little bit longer.
It's ran out.
Yeah.
Cinder's gonna try to get water.
Mm-hmm.
Roy's gonna try and. They will absolutely let Cinder get water, but we'll be starting to like drag them out towards the entrance we came in.
Okay.
Yeah, Cinder's just basically like, I'm ready to go home at this point.
A pair of twins step up to the stage and they begin to start playing. And as the two of you head out, you hear this song sort of beginning, and it's sort of that's the sound that all of you sort of hear, apart from July, Asta, and Nonnery. As the guards lead you round the corner, he sort of grabs at his mask thing, his helmet, and he pulls it off. And standing in front of you is Sharky, and he looks at you and, "I haven't worn one of those things in bloody ages. Oh, I hate it. Oh, that's the last time we come for guards call. Quickly, the real ones are coming." And he takes off the manacles and the shoulder to you, and he says, "You owe..." And then he points over his shoulder, and walking out is Oddfingers. She sort of looks at you and, "I hung out outside that bloody window for 2.5 hours watching to see if any of you got in trouble. What took you so bloody long?"
Child, I will give you all of my candy when we get home.
"I don't give a damn about your candy. Look at my fingers." And she shows you that they're bleeding where she's been holding the rocks.
Oh,
Rufus didn't even notice me. He climbed straight past me, stood on my toe and everything.
I'll cast Cure Wounds on her.
Oh, thank you. That's pretty good. Oh, look. It's a party. A whole lot of you are here. Oh, seems your first job went alright, didn't it? She looks to Sharky and, "They're bloody amateurs. They're going to get themselves killed." And with that, you guys head on back to the house, and I will ask you for your MVPs. The 6 of you are grouped up. Well, 5 of you, sorry. Rufus is sat at home, chill. waiting for you when you arrive.
We arrive back. No one breathes a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, and that's what we'll end.
Yeah.
I'll ask you for some MVPs.
Oh.
Who did I start with? I started with Royal, so again.
Well, speaking of Royal, I'd say my MVP is Royal. I enjoyed very much how she had Royal talk his way into things. The music and the entrapment of the music was very nice. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and Throw was brilliant. Josh.
So I have two. One of them is just July's antics this whole episode. You know, like when that woman was like, "Are you stupid, girl?" and she was like, "Yes."
I love that.
You know. And the other one is the bless her, the poor girl who was stupid. And like who had the stars on her, she's like, "Girls, look, I'm a star." So funny.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed her. Yeah, she's actually quite a relevant character. You'll meet her again at some point. So yeah, Captain Stupid is still relevant. Eli.
Pretty much after the entire fucking anytime, just especially the not so subtle wink into the whole, chasing the guards. Just wait a minute. Just everything was so perfectly done by Josh. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
I love every all of Aster's shenanigans.
Stevie.
Oh my gosh, everybody made me laugh. Can I give my MVP to the DM? I enjoyed all of the NPCs so
I love
much.
it. I love an MVP.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, everybody was so good. Like every time you pulled out a new one, it was great. So thank you.
Oh, bless you. I really appreciate that. Duff.
I forgot it, but then I just remembered it. How we came in with a plan. Like we everyone spent a week straight planning this thing in the chat. As soon as we got in, nothing went according to plan.
That's not true. The guy you made invisible got the ring and got out. Realistically, did anything else matter?
That's true, but to be fair, he wouldn't have gotten out if it wasn't for whoever the fuck else was in there, doing it.
Maybe not. You're not sure, right? Because if the original idea, right, he could also have been arrested, right, and taken off with Sharky. So, yeah. Trill.
I'm gonna give it to July for the commitment to try saving Rufus, the general old people solidarity.
And a complete lack of metagaming in that moment as well. Applauded to that, yeah. I agree 100%. I have a couple of brief ones and then a real MVP. I loved Aster's response to, I wonder what performances they do upstairs. We're probably not allowed to do them. Darth saying, Cinder has a visible fuck face. I don't know what you meant by that, but it didn't come across the way you were intending it. I absolutely loved A-Game's I have absolutely no idea what Nonnery would do in this situation. Fuck it, I'll follow Aster. You could just see that, nothing that he could do in that situation made any sense to him. He'd done the MVP bit of invisibility, right? Full disclosure, if July had just turned around, nobody got arrested. I'm really glad you did that, because I really wanted somebody to get arrested so that you could get that reveal. It's really... Obviously, there is some reason why all this was happening, right? All this drama, and that will be found out in time, but I think, realistically, I probably wasn't... I mean, I could have let you fail in certain ways, you might not have got the ring, but you were always going to get escorted out if you failed by Sharky and the other guy's actually Jazz, the huge bodyguard, yeah. So basically, there was always that fail-safe for you guys, but you actually played it really well. Enthrall is such a cool spell, so I really enjoyed that whole, like, maneuvering. It would have been a lot worse if you and Cinder didn't pull that off, because it would have been all the guards instead of a guard. But my overall MVP goes to character commitment from every single one of you. Like, Asa committing to be oblivious, Nonary committing to speak into someone's mind when I've told him it's a Kalishtar, who traditionally can choose mind contact, Royal's commitment to continue acting like they have a place in this place, even though, like, they don't. Like, Darth's commitment to Cinder not having a clue but going along with it anyway. No metagaming whatsoever from Stevie as she just walked into the room and got herself arrested. But more than anything, I could feel Eli's tension through the whole session, and it gave me tension, which sold the whole show. So, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this today. I think you guys really committed well. So, yeah, it's been a great night.
My hands are still sweaty.
So sweaty.
Yeah. So, thanks, guys. Small thank you to Ben for the resub. Welcome back to the Quackback for 26 months. My longest standing subscriber. Much appreciated. However, that is where we'll end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good life.